So I just realized you had Hillel versus Akiva. Why them
Yeah.
versus like Shemai?
No, that would
Like
be
the,
too
the
easy.
house the house fighting.
Well, that would be too easy. And then you just have Shammai standing over Hillel's body with a knife. Basically what happened.
uh, are there any more like Hillites? Like, do any of the Jews still like follow the debates, or is that just fully settled by
Well,
this
all,
point?
all the rulings right now are according to Hillel when there's a dispute.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. What's up, everyone? How's everyone
Yo,
doing? We are all tired and with issues going on with stomachs. So this should be
well,
a fun stream.
I have lost
these two
seven
are.
pounds in 2 days, mostly of fluid. So I'm having a great time myself.
Andrew's coming soon.
But hopefully
What
this
are
will
you
be the
eating,
last
man?
stream I do.
Cream cheese and apple.
Cream cheese and apple.
Strawberry cream cheese with apple. Delicious.
That's the most Midwestern
Uh,
thing I've ever heard.
That's weird.
That's very good.
Oh no, now the
Especially if
stream's going to
the
get taken off
apple.
of your TikTok for cyberbullying.
Dude,
What?
TikTok is.
Especially if the
So I
apple's
got
not very
flagged
good.
yesterday.
The cream cheese does a good job masking it.
I was telling my life story yesterday, and I got flagged on TikTok for unoriginal content.
Say that again.
I
I was reading
was
the chat.
I
One of
was
my subscribers said his girlfriend dumped him or something like that.
Yeah, no, I saw that too.
oof. Sucks, man.
Sorry about that,
Um,
man.
no, I was
Onwards.
literally telling a new part of my life story that I hadn't shared on the internet yet. And TikTok, so his brain like literally couldn't be reproduced content. And it said that I got flagged for unoriginal content. And I was like, great, thanks. Yeah.
it it would be funny if they were like, "What Talmudic dilemma? Didn't them rabbis talk about that like 13 centuries ago? Get that out of here, bro."
They
Somebody
did actually.
saying they sent me an email about a sponsor offer. Can you send me that email again? Because I don't seem to have it or I missed it. But I don't generally have sponsors, but I will take a look. I will
There
not be
is no topic.
beholden to anyone, though. That's the thing.
Yes. So the live
I will
stream is
obey.
just to hang out and have fun, not really to go over anything in specific. But
Oh, we will end up doing that, though,
Yes,
at some point.
that
We
guy's
will exegete Romans
username.
9 through 11.
Well, I think we would all have different takes on what. Never mind. That guy's username is lawful good, which happens to be one of the most boring ways to play Dungeons and Dragons. If you guys know, if you don't know, you don't know. If you do, shout out ball knowers.
This Emuna Shamayim
Stop.
person. Ash is distracted by the Goyim. The Goyim are distracted by me.
Did you see that
Topic
clip
tonight,
with
why are the Jews
Candace?
responsible for everything? Yeah.
Well, I
what?
don't know if we even want to talk about Candace, but
You can talk
it's
about
her
Candace.
on Sean Ryan, Candace Owens on Sean Ryan, and they're like, "Since when did the word goy ever mean, nation or whatever? That word means cattle. They're calling us cows or something." I was like, "What are you talking about?" These people, bro.
What now?
No, it was crazy. You just have to see it for yourself.
Here's my dilemma, okay? I'm torn between knowing that Candace Owens and ilk, like the Dan
Bilzerian,
Blabarian, whatever it's called,
right?
that guy, that. Okay, perfect. I'll take a look. Like that crew is just mentally handicapped. And then like you have Tucker, who's not mentally handicapped, who's very calculated and smart. And then on the flip side, I enjoy the fact that they like say things like you worship Satan to Rabbi Brian Samuel.
I know.
So there's that, and I'm torn. It's like he's doing something in his profile picture condemned by Jesus in the New Testament, showing off his broad garment that he puts his fringes on, his talit.
Mm.
We're doing Jewish things from the first century. Tell me you're not an atheist Jew who's using Christianity to promote Zionism without saying it. Anyways.
Oh, there's some pretty crazy I mean, I don't know if I can defend like Tucker or any of the other like hardcore crazy people nowadays.
Yeah.
Just they've gone off the deep end pretty hard on the whole Jew, but not even just the Jew stuff, like just in general. I haven't heard a single coherent thought he's made in a while. And just like snapped. Like either
Tucker?
he's getting paid to say that. Yeah.
Tucker hasn't snapped. Tucker knows exactly what he's saying.
Just like Joe Biden.
Well,
now some of the things he says about like Islam are just asinine and completely false. It's like,
yeah, he's saying incorrect things. Like he's wrong about a lot of things. He's not doing it because he doesn't know. He's doing it because it's calculated. It's part of a
scheme,
an agenda, a scheme.
Yeah,
they're schemers. Name that movie.
Don't tell me. You're gonna have to tell me.
Dark Knight.
You're right. You're right.
I'm not a schemer.
Man. Yeah. There. Yeah.
I'm
That's
like
when he's at the meeting.
Chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do if I caught one.
Ah. I don't remember that one.
I love that.
No, I'm not growing. My hair is shorter than the last time you made that comment. I don't think this person knows how hair growth works. Did you all think I was really bald? I'm balding.
Yes.
I don't.
No,
I wouldn't.
So all your hair just retracted back into your skull, and then came out your front as your beard.
Goes through your brain on down.
It's absolutely how it is.
I was about to say my Yudin joke, but the mustache kind of would throw that off.
I did not realize that we were starting at 8. I apologize.
You're forgiven.
I said, how big of a super chat do I need to get a live rendition of I Shit My Pants next time you're on a cliff? I'm not going to do that. In fact, I removed it. I decided it's not, I'll think of the word at some point, but it's not appropriate.
Edifying.
It's not edifying.
Yeah. God honoring.
I will leave up all material where I say wrong things and make errors so that everyone can see my errors and how I have corrected those. But if it's just silly, yeah, it's not even a matter of mature. It's like, it's just too much like language that is just not edifying. So
I do have a solid like 10 seconds of that on my hard drive permanently though.
Oh,
you cannot delete it from Chris's permanent memory.
It's living there forever.
Part of the soundboard.
Yeah, it is.
What's up, Andrew?
Well, just the GIF.
Not much. Oh,
I made an epic GIF of my priest sensing with the sensor.
Oh, okay.
And so now, anytime instead of like the "Say Christ is Lord" or one of those ones, I just post my priest like sensing.
Ash got a super chat with nothing on it.
Thank you. Appreciate the support.
Sticker.
Super sticker. Maybe, I don't know.
Thank you for the support.
Streamer can't show
it. Man, I saw a horrible thing about a priest today. I was in genuine shock. This is not. I'm not saying any of this is a shot at the Catholic Church. This is absolutely the evil of one in particular man. However, so I saw a story about a priest, an ex-priest now, who's been um, uh,
Excommunicated.
Defrocked is such a weird way to put that when it's something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't want to say officially excommunicated because I just don't know, but he had, some bad charges on some stuff they found on his computer. I'll say it like that. But it gets worse. Apparently, he had drugs. I don't know if I can say the exact drug. It's YouTube, right? YouTube doesn't care, right?
It's fine. I don't really care that much about TikTok. Go for
it. He had crystal meth, and he kept it with the Blessed Sacrament.
That's
it was
extra blessed.
all in the same bowl. He just kept it there to hide it. And I read that thinking, imagine you go through the process to become a priest, and you truly believe that this wafer is the flesh and blood of Jesus. This is Jesus in your midst. And you think, you know what? Jesus can protect my crystal meth. You keep it there with it. That's absolutely insane.
I will say though, like, I'm not defending the priest, obviously. I'm just putting things into perspective here. Jesus defending your crystal meth is more of a Protestant thing. I'm just saying, there's a lot of songs about it.
You know what? That's
I don't
fair.
need those pills you take just to feel the spirit moving.
I didn't. My wife went to go see him in concert recently, and I was supposed to go, and I didn't get to. I was so sad.
Can you imagine what that's like as a as like a Jew who's investigating Christianity, and this is like years ago, and I come across that song, and I'm like, all right, Protestant is not the way. Which is not a fair assessment. It's, you can't decide based on that, but people are upset in the chat.
We don't condemn that. We do not.
I have no
that.
filter.
We're not
No
denomination bashing this evening.
The comment that says no ash. We don't condone meth.
I didn't say you condone it. It just kind of happens.
Well, I mean,
anyways.
all the people on like what is it, Adderall? It's all just amphetamines anyway.
Oh,
so if you're on Adderall, you're technically a meth addict.
Okay, but let's be for real. There are people who do need Adderall.
Sure. I mean, the Nazis needed meth. Sometimes you just gotta use it.
This is not in the same vein at all. I think medicinally, I don't like the idea of using Adderall. I think it's bad. I don't think people should use it.
It is
but
bad.
There are certain circumstances in which it's like, okay, well, you gotta do something.
There was a time where I thought I had ADHD, but it turned out I just consumed too much sugar and spicy food.
Turns out he only had 79 HDs.
I might have ADHD, as me and Andrew discovered the other night. I still haven't done any tests or any of that stuff, but may or may not be a reality.
We're talking about ADHD, and somebody in the chat's like, kitty cat.
Andrew's cat showed up on the screen for a second.
Nice, Mickey, nice.
I started listing off my, the things that were the warning signs, and Chris was just staring at the camera like, oh no.
Oh no.
I was like, yeah, check. Check. Huh, I never thought about that. Check.
Apparently there's this thing whenever people are going through medical school where as they research the different diseases and illnesses and stuff and like mental psychiatric stuff, like people will self-diagnose themselves with diseases and like mental problems, and they don't actually have them. They just think that they do. It's really interesting how they do it.
I mean, that sounds totally possible. That I was really like, I thought, no, I don't think I actually have this. I think I was worried about self-diagnosing. Just going off what I hear online. It wasn't until I was talking to my doctor and they mentioned things that I hadn't heard online. They're like, stuff with, I don't know how to call it, like Like when you're playing The Sims and your action, you cancel an action on a sim in the middle of them doing the sim or the action. You know what I mean? Like you send them to go do something and they're on their way to do it. And then you realize you need them to do something else. So you cancel the action to have them go do the other thing. That's what I feel like I was doing all the
no idea what
time.
you're talking about.
So like if I
Ash knows.
so like if I
No idea.
if
Last time I
I
played a
have
sim
a
game was on
task,
like a 1990s Macintosh
let me put it in this
when I
perspective.
was a
Like
kid.
when I was working at the church, okay, if I was tasked that day with going to I needed to go print out like 50 copies of this thing we were going to use over the weekend and get them all stapled up and used and ready to go and organized. And then I also had to go, like, let's say I started working on that. And then I realized that I needed to go get something out of one of our classrooms on the other side of the church. That first thing isn't happening today. Like, not because I didn't have the ability to do it. It's just out of my mind. I went on to my new task. And if I didn't have something external to remind me that that task did not get done, my mind has already moved on. So like the canceling out, it was just like immediately I didn't realize how much that had been affecting my life that like I just wasn't getting stuff done ever because I
This
would
is
just
why I
get
think that like
distracted.
ADD, ADHD, there's like a component of it that's like traits. It's not actually a thing. Because I was more like that before being in the military, and then I was not like that at all.
Well, there's some really good research done in like why disciplines are important, because I think there are like genuinely things you can do without medicine to help. Like actually setting proper disciplinary actions to like make sure you're actually getting your stuff done throughout the day. But also people have done a ton of research into like just external reminders, like having physical things in your life where you write down what you need to do so that even if you forget, like even if you have had that previous thing canceled in your mind and it's gone, you can look back at your like physical reminder and be like, oh, you know, I have to go do this. This has to get done.
Speaking of ADHD, I'm going to cut you off. Can you pull up that comment? Will God forgive me for being related to the Arizal? I mean,
He's had several of these type of posts.
like I'm related to Rashi and the Ramah, but it's not as bad as being related to the Arizal. You guys know who the Arizal is? Yeah. Aria Kodesh. Yeah, it's the Isaac Luria, famous Kabbalist who like systematized a bunch of Kabbalistic things that then found their way into Hasidic Judaism.
Sounds like a real base guy.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't actually
don't
write
know most
anything.
of them.
His student wrote everything down after, basically.
Yeah, pretty much every rabbi after Maimonides I do not know about. They're like
There's
few
some
far in
kooky ones,
between.
man. Like Maimonides is pretty cool. Like at the end of the day, he's just like your average Muslim philosopher, but
right.
Like he's a brilliant philosopher. Like that's the thing. Like you can't discredit that. Like Thomas Aquinas is citing him and stuff like that as a philosopher.
Ash, I might be related. You're both Jews. Crazy. Like I can almost guarantee you're related in some way. Back up the tree. Anyway.
What's really funny was when I saw my wife sent me that somebody who's like critical of me, like a Jewish person who's like debunks me in the comments, posted their like Jewish like genetic thing from like 23andMe or whatever it is on X, and she sends it to me. And this guy's like 60% Jewish or whatever it is, 80% Jewish. It's like you're playing these games and you're not even 90+% Ashkenazi. Come on, man. I am 93% Ashkenazi, bro.
Yeah, get on Ash's level before you speak.
Oh, my buddy Justin came in too.
I
just
really want to
realized that
know what percentage Jewish I am, just so I can like have that in my bio. Like, hey, I'm 2.8% Jewish. You know,
Well,
that's a big deal.
Ash wasn't saying Aquinas quotes him because he's good.
He cites him as a valid philosopher. That's
yeah,
the
he
point.
cites him as a philosopher.
Like he's acknowledging his
intellectual
He does
prowess.
He calls Muhammad a madman.
Aquinas?
Because he, no, Maimonides.
Oh.
He can't say Muhammad is bad, so he never actually uses the word Muhammad that I could see in the like 3 or 4 books I scanned of his. But he does use the word madman.
Towards the end of his life, became much more openly critical of Islam in a way that he could not do when he was still trying to stay alive.
Understandably so.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. He has some pretty harsh things to say about him, though. I have him as in part of my list of people who mocked Muhammad in history.
Comment. I never
It's a
took a
long
DNA
list.
test, but when I go to Home Depot and walk by the stud finder, they all go.
Bro.
Okay. You have the
The
funniest joke
bacon
so
picture.
far.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I'll give you that one.
What bacon picture?
Oh, his
Oh,
profile
it's
picture is
a
just a piece
picture
of
of bacon.
bacon.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
And it's
bacon.
that. You are
sizzle
cool. You are a cool individual, friend.
Ash, did you
Definitely
see
not Jewish.
Emania said Ash will convert me. Hey,
Could
be right here, right now.
Well, I don't know what you said you're Jewish, but I don't know what that could mean. Different things to different people. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what religious like affiliation you have. Like, are you Messianic Jewish? Are you Reform? Are you Orthodox? We'll find out if you decide to answer. Conservative.
It's
Okay,
conservative.
so you're observing a form of rabbinic Judaism. Yeah, I mean, you ought to convert.
Mm.
You ought to accept Jesus Christ, the Jewish Messiah, as your Lord, as the Son of God. So, yeah.
Oh, there was a day when Chase and I did a call-in stream probably a month ago now, where right as we were ending the stream, I don't know what kind of Jewish believer he was, but he came in and he wanted to ask us questions to essentially prove that Jesus was God. And I really wish we had just kept going, but we both had to get off. And I was like, hey, come back for the next one. He did not. He hate to see it.
What day was that?
I mean, it was like a month ago.
Yeah, that was a little while ago.
Man, I wasn't there. That's sad.
That's so funny. One of Jamaica's black millionaires was half Jewish. Now, depending on how you pull that thread, somebody's going to get upset.
You're Jewish.
You're Jewish, but are you Jewish? That's a good question because people don't think about it that way, but it's true.
Right.
You need to think, are you Jewish? Because, but that has different context. So being Jewish could mean that you're a Christian because you're the fulfillment of what being Jewish is, right? So you could be a Gentile who is in the covenant with our Lord, and so you are Jewish, as opposed to just being Jewish. But on the flip side, that could be not Jewish because you're like the farthest thing culturally from what is considered Jewish today. So being Jewish would mean like you really like gefilte fish. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he's open-minded. If you've never read the New Testament is an extremely Jewish book. It's actually so Jewish that they even debate on whether or not Gentiles are allowed in the church. So it's a book written by Jews for Jews, and it's full of rabbinic debate. If you read the Gospel of John, almost every single thing Jesus does in that gospel is a response to one of the things in the Mishnah that the Pharisees were practicing and teaching at the time. Especially if you go through like John 8-9, like every action he does it's kind of like dunking on the Pharisees. He's like disagreeing with them, but you'll see just how like first century Jewish the text is whenever you compare it to the Mishnah. There's so many of the practices and beliefs that are inside of the New Testament. Then also if you read the Targums, there's so much of that included within it as well. So it's a book for you, and it talks about the Messiah. who was prophesied to come before the destruction of the Second Temple around the time Jesus came. So, like, if it's not
No,
Jesus, who was it?
not Kabbalistic.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
No,
Kabbalah,
what?
what you know as Kabbalah didn't exist for 13 centuries afterwards, basically. No. Well, 10
Yeah,
centuries.
bro.
But he also
Though
wasn't
they,
like proto-Kabbalistic. It's not
It
close.
came from Shimon Bar Yochai.
yeah, they claim it's
you
much
have to read
older,
it
but-
if you're Jewish, especially conservative. So you're very culturally Jewish, but not necessarily Orthodox, right? So if you want, like, when you're reading Acts, right, and the Council of Jerusalem, just make sure you're reading it in the correct voice. What are you doing? You're still circumcising. Still circumcising. Well, you're telling me I can't circumcise? What are you talking about? No, you don't circumcise the Gentile kids. You can keep circumcising your kids. But how are they going to be Jewish to them being circumcised? Are you going to suck blood out? No, that ruling didn't come out yet.
Yo.
No,
Yeah,
Kabbalah,
bro.
it's nonsense. These are
But again,
anachronisms. These are historical.
that's the
nonsense.
claim. Yeah,
Yeah.
let me put it to you like this. If you can hear Muhammad claim that the teachings and tenets of Islam go back to Abraham, and think, yeah, that's ridiculous. Okay, so now let's put that same logic to Kabbalah and say that doesn't make any sense.
Like, it's like thinking the first century church believed in sola scriptura.
Hey now. Oh.
I was about to do more.
Shots fired.
As an angry old Jew.
If you don't want people to think you're part of a secret cabal, maybe don't call part of your religion Kabbalistic.
Hey, unfortunately, after I read Essential Kabbalah, I'm still upset that I did not realize this wasn't going to be about the child eating celebrities. I was very mistaken to not know that pop Kabbalah is completely different, and that's what I needed to learn about. Regular Kabbalah is just really weird love cult, really strange.
Well, if you can go like Chabad.org, they have an article to talk about like, hey, you know all this thing that like the celebrities are doing? That's not related to us whatsoever. That's something else. That's goy.
Yeah.
So even the Hasidic movement has dedicated information for Jews and other like non-Jews to be like, hey, what they're doing calling Kabbalah is not it. But you have a super chat. Ash, why do you
why
choose
Melkite?
the Eastern Catholics?
So Melkite specifically, so it was the choice was Eastern Catholic, and the Melkites were the closest to me. Still pretty far, but the closest to me. Knowing what I know now, that would have been the ideal decision anyway. So I'm really happy that I ended up there. Basically, what I really like about the Melkite Church is that essentially I can be in a place where I'm affirming things through a first millennium lens of the church, but also being able to put that lens and be able to accept doctrines of the Catholic Church, basically. For me, having the papacy was actually, despite the fact that I am not a fan of some recent popes, I do understand the importance of the office of the papacy. Even if you were to view that, by the way, just not the papacy like in the role that the Roman Catholic Church views it as, but just the importance of having the Patriarch of Rome essentially being part of the church in the first place, being a critical thing there, like that's really important. Without that, you don't really have the fullness of the church, in my opinion. There's a lot more that goes into it. That's an oversimplification, but essentially being Melkite puts me in this position where I can feel very comfortable with the fact that there is a certain unity in the church. We can be part of the East and also connected to the Patriarch of Rome. I think that's a beautiful thing to be able to be in that position where a lot of people don't like you for it, but it kind of proves the point, essentially.
Yeah. And I will say,
Yeah,
I will almost
God
never
forbid.
become a Catholic. But if I did become a Catholic, I would become some form of Eastern Catholic.
They said
sure.
they're the only ones that would let him in, right? Sure.
Because God forbid you become a Protestant. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I find Protestantism incredibly appealing, I must say, in its own way.
Yeah.
I also, if I would
smack him
ever
with my King
be,
James Bible.
yeah, you can't do that in a Catholic church. You're gonna smack them with your NRSV.
No.
Your catechism, you're gonna break their neck.
I don't even own a catechism of the Catholic Church. We have our own catechism. I mean,
They use a
it
different
references
catechism with the Melkite.
Nope. I mean, we reference the catechism in our catechism, but it's very much more Eastern. It's more in line in some ways with Orthodoxy. It affirms everything the catechism affirms. It doesn't deny anything from the Catholic catechism.
Is it as thick?
It's like, do I have it here? No. It's like, I don't know, like 400 pages. I don't know.
Catechism's
Yes.
a big book.
I was
I
gonna say,
read like a third of it for various topics and debates. But
It's less technical than the Catechism of the Catholic Church. It's much more narrative based.
Right.
So it's Gemara.
It goes through the anaphora and the liturgy of Saint Basil, and it goes through the theology.
Yeah, look at that
of the
thing. That thing
church.
is a chunker.
Yeah,
What
for
is
anyone
that?
who's
It's a catechism.
That's
Yeah,
hefty.
it's a catechism.
That's catechism.
it ain't
It's a hefty,
big
hefty
words
book,
either.
man.
It ain't big
Mhm.
words. It's little words.
It's a big book.
Somebody made a comment that like, oh, Ash is like something about the Gemara and being complicated and whatever, and like it's like the catechism, your catechism is so much more complicated than the Talmud and like long-winded and so, what? Like each volume
And
of the Talmud is bigger than the catechism, and it's all
Wait.
debates.
Someone said that this stream or just to you in general?
No, and to me in one of my videos.
Okay. That is a crazy comment. Like the Talmud itself, I mean, I've read, I don't know what percentage of it. I've read a lot of it. Way more than I ever thought I was going to. And it is, at times it's kind of nonsensical, but it is kind of dry in a lot of places. Especially like the Mishnah that doesn't have a Gemara. That's just extremely dry law. And it's way more dry than the Catechism is. I don't know.
Talmud's wild, man.
It has some stuff in it. The poop statue is still my favorite part so far I've read. Hey, how do you honor this idol? And you eat spinach and drink beer, so you just get like the Cyosplora, whatever the parasite is right now. You get that level of diarrhea and just spray the statue. And that's
Is that what you
worship it.
experienced this past week?
Yeah, I could have painted a mural the last couple days. Not a small mural. I could have like painted a sizable portion of the Empire State Building with it. It was a lot of fluid. At least like 80 to 90 trips to the bathroom in a day and a half. Was
You should just locked yourself in there.
I thought about
So
sleeping on the
Rashi says
ground
that
in there.
the idol that they were worshiping in the desert that got them in trouble, and then Pinchas goes and kills the, like he says
Baal
that that's
Peor.
a poop idol. Like it's very clear from the
Mhm.
context that there's some sexual connotation, but Rashi seems to think that you worship it by pooping.
That's in the Talmud.
That sounds
This is the
just like
same-
what Muhammad did.
This is the
Sorry.
same Rashi that says the snake in the garden was literally just a snake, and also wanted to have intercourse with Eve.
Well, that's because he got jealous about Adam. He got to have, with all the animals until he
True.
found his way. Satan was like, "What the heck, man?"
Yeah. And then no, there's actually one source that says that they did do it, and then they got divorced for I think it was like 180 days. Adam and
snake
Eve got
had to-
divorced for a while.
I
And
thought you
then
said the snake had
Adam
to divorce
started-
Eve.
No, Adam had to divorce Eve. Then Adam got married to essentially Lilith or some demon woman, and then he had a bunch of babies through the demons. And then she married a bunch of demons as well. Eve did. So both Adam and Eve also just had a bunch of demon babies So then she's the mother of all creatures because they got divorced for a while. Then they realized that, oh, maybe we shouldn't be like doing it with demons. And then they got back together. Because that's what the
Classic.
Bible says happened.
I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds right.
Based.
Yeah.
And then it also has Solomon starting Freemasonry, but that's in a different part of the Bible, right?
Well, little did you know, Chase. Adam was the first Freemason. So
That's
excuse
true.
you.
You're right. Love all.
He was the first builder, actually.
Yes.
That is actually
Noah.
an excellent assessment. Rashi sounds like a 2,000-year-old. Oh, it's a 1,000-year-old MTV cartoon
2000
producer brain.
MTV.
So, in other news, I had that little online scuffle with that individual. So basically, I had X, but I didn't use X. Basically, like people would contact me. My wife would open it up and tell me if somebody was reaching out to me or if somebody was tagging me in something, and then I would respond. But after that, I basically started using X, which has awakened the
beast.
attack mode.
Yeah. You leaving verbal comments, then you have to realize you need to stop doing it because your kid
Yeah.
calls someone a retard or something like that.
Well, basically, I've
what did you
been
say?
responding to like everything that kind of fits the bill at this point. So I had to educate Jordan Peterson. If do you have X?
Dude, do not mention Jordan Peterson around.
I do have
Hussar.
X. I've only used it to debunk Muslim apologists. That's it. So
Do you want to pull up X and pull up my response to Jordan Peterson and my response to Wes Huff?
let me
Wes Huff,
make this into a new
where
video.
you at?
Like I got what Wes Huff was saying, so I was like less like at him about it. It was more just responding.
Graf Peterson.
But Jordan Peterson is a joke. It's like you can't be that smart and that non-committal and anyone take you seriously anymore. Like
Yeah, we had a very long discussion about old JP with Hussar Matamoros. Yeah.
why does it say Kufar Matamoros now?
Yeah, I don't know. He changed his name. Hussar. I mean, to him, Jordan Peterson is a Freemason, but
All right, let me figure it out.
no, Jordan Peterson has you hooked, bro. Like,
All right, hold on.
like, dang. I don't think that Jordan Peterson is a Christian personally, and
He's not a Christian.
yeah, but Hussar is
Yeah, I
like,
don't know why. Who has?
he definitely is.
He's not
Come
a
on,
Christian.
hit
Jordan
me with
Peterson
it.
is not a Christian.
Hit me with it, Hussar. Come on, give us your best argument.
It's like a symbol, you know,
I know, that's why.
like the fish,
Like
you know, and
his-
the fish.
I
is a
think his
symbol.
wife was
His wife's Catholic.
And his wife's Catholic.
or was. I don't remember.
She's baptized. She is.
It's like, Jordan, do you believe in God? Well, what do you mean by that?
I mean,
What do you mean by believe?
What does it mean to
God.
believe?
he
And
still
in.
has some of the most based
And do.
comments to Muhammad Hijab ever. It's like, no, I
You
don't buy your
your
Allah.
Allah.
Oh wait, I have that.
I don't buy your Allah.
We can't hear it.
Ash,
Yeah,
did you,
Chris.
Ah, why?
He's singing.
Okay, hold on. I'm bopping off. Hold on.
Yeah.
I forgot I
You
turned
got
off
your
my
Goy
playback.
tunes in them headphones.
Yeah, hold on. Where is my output for that? It should be B1. Wait, how do you not hear my... Wait, what's my mic at? Output VB. No, you can't hear that. Why?
Come on, Hussar. I know you spent them last minutes typing up a huge response to me only to delete it. Come on now.
no. It stays in the Discord.
It doesn't have to, though. You can air your feelings. It's okay. I don't think you're not a Christian just because you don't think Jordan Peterson's not a Christian.
Wait,
I'm
he thinks
concerned
that
about
Jordan
the
Peterson's a
Freemason
Christian?
stuff, though.
Well, you can't be a Freemason. Like, if you're a Freemason, you're not a Christian. They're mutually exclusive to each other.
That is what I had always thought as well, but that's also
I
a conversation.
Like, I have a family member who's one of these 33rd degree Masons, and he's like an educator for the Grand Lodge and all that stuff. Yeah.
The old lodgeman.
Yeah. Once I get through enough. Let's just put it this way. This individual.
If I were to bring reasonable
hear myself
evidence that the
back
Prophet Muhammad, that he was a true prophet, would you be willing to become a Muslim?
How about no? I don't buy your Allah.
Why is there an
I don't
echo
know
of
why
myself laughing?
It's because all of my audio, both input and output, got funneled through my mic at the moment. I changed it back, so now you should
Well,
be able to.
so Kufar Madaros, you say that that's what anti-Masons will tell you. So this person, this individual,
Anyway.
is to this day an observant Orthodox Jew. Okay, and yet when I went through discussions about objective morality with them and objective truth and whether or not Judaism is true and how it relates to being a Freemason and so on, it got to the point where I basically had them cornered to a position where they could not make any truth claims about what's good and what's not. And I got them to say, as an Orthodox Jew, well, I don't care. There's no such thing as heresy anyways, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, if there's no problem with heresy or blasphemy or saying any of these things, would you say, for me, for my sake, right? Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, a sinner. And he said it because there was nowhere else to go. He's just like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. But he's an Orthodox Jew. So the subjectivism of his worldview as a Freemason and morality and deism and ethics overrode his Orthodox Judaism in that moment so that he could make that point about what is and what isn't important. Right? You cannot be a Freemason and anything else religious. It does not work.
The ball is in your court.
Yeah. You
Not
wanna
to
go
mention
through-
every one of these religions condemns Freemasonry.
Yeah, I know. I understand that there are a ton of people who are supposedly Christian and also Freemason, which I'm sure there are plenty of people who are truly saved and are Freemasons who just don't really understand. But I don't know about that. What, you affirm that all religions kind of point to the same? No. I don't know that I can really do that. It's kind of like with I've been
No.
looking into Seventh-day Adventism.
Sorry,
And
he
there-
said he said
Sorry.
only Catholics and Orthodox. I just wanted to say no.
No,
Like,
that's
I'm pretty
not
sure
true.
I think Lutherans and Presbyterians
And
Anglicans also all say you can't.
But there are just certain things like according to the Seventh-day Adventist organization, which I hesitate to call a
Freemasonry?
church because I won't. They believe that Satan bears some sin, like the sin of the believers into hell. And it's like, okay, well, you can't really be a Christian and affirm that Christ didn't atone for your sin, right? So yeah, I don't know.
So Jordan Peterson writes
Yeah.
in response to all this stuff
Can you
going
hear me?
on. Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to fix my
With re-
at the same time. So now you should. Can you
with
hear yourself
regard
now
to
when you talk?
Judeo. No, I can't hear myself. No, that ended when you shut off.
Can you
the
hear
music.
this?
Yeah, I can hear that.
You can hear that?
Okay.
Juggalos.
With regard to Judeo-Christian, the Ten Commandments are Jewish. The great stories of the Old Testament are Jewish. The Jews developed the idea of subsidiary as the alternative to tyranny and slavery. The Jews established the cultural preconditions for the rise of universal literacy. The fate of Israel at the hands of the Ismailists is the fate of the West. This rising tide of anti-Semitism sickens me. Those of you engage in it for your oh so moral reasons, you're despicable. And remember, you proud Christians objecting in all your purity to the term Christ himself was a Jew.
So the only
you
thing
had
in there
Mr.
that is even, go back to that for a sec. The only thing in there that is somewhat defensible is that the fate of Israel, the nation state, the secular nation, right, at the hands of the Islamists is the fate of the West. You could make arguments to defend that claim. Okay? That if Israel were to be wiped out by Islamists, that would then indicate a future coming of that for other places in the West. Okay? Nothing else in this is accurate or true. Even Christ himself was a Jew is not an accurate statement. The statement would be correctly said as Christ himself is a Jew, because Christ does not change. So even that's not accurate from in this perspective, not entirely accurate. So there's nothing else that's true in any of this. So if you go to my response there, is this the day I educate Jordan Peterson? First of all, it's not Christ himself was a Jew. Christ is a Jew. See Hebrews 13:8. Anti-Semitism as a concern is in no way relevant to the nonsensical nature of the term Judeo-Christian. This is an appeal to emotion. Okay, the fact that there's anti-Semitism does not indicate whether or not this is an accurate phrase or not. With that said, the fact is that the values that we refer to as being Judeo-Christian are only Judeo in as far as they are in some capacity originate from the Old Testament, which means as a Christian, all that is fulfilled in Christ, hence the term Christian, making the Judeo part redundant at best. Further, much of what we would consider Judeo-Christian values are actually not Judeo at all, but values stemming from Christ and from his church, and Jews at various points in history would not have adopted these values if it were not for pressure from Christian society. Okay, polygamy was only banned because of pressure from the church, and Rabbeinu Gershom made a decree in the 9th century to ban polygamy. Jews in Muslim countries did not ban polygamy officially across the board until 1948, when Israel became a state, because it was under pressure from the European Jews at the time that they banned it. Okay?
Right.
The Jewish value of
to be fair,
the Christian value of monogamy in a relationship is not a Judeo value at all outside of the Christian context, for example.
For those who are aware of the history of it, there will be some that point out that there were Jews in 1st century BC arguing for monogamy in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And then later
Among the
Karaites
Essenes who were also a lot of
argued for it.
celibates. So,
It's true. It's true. But there were Jews at that time that also embraced monogamy.
all right, you can have one wife,
But that did
no
not
more.
that they actually
At
called
most.
the Pharisees like church or temple destroyers because they had polygamy. They were very, very offended at the Pharisees for that. That was like one of the 3 great sins of Israel was polygamy, according to those Jews. But that is a tiny minority outside cults. It's not like actual Judaism, as you said.
Can you also pull up my response to Wes Huff? Because this is like, this is just annoying at this point.
So
Wes Huff, where you at?
Okay, he goes, so much noise online about the term Judeo-Christian. Guys, it's in academia. It simply refers to the combined corpus of Old and New Testament. It's just the term that academia uses. Okay, academia uses a lot of incorrect terms that they should change. Academia thinks people should get participation trophies. Academia thinks that men can be women and women can be men. Right? I don't think Wes would agree with that just because these are categories that academia affirms.
Scroll down a little bit, Chris.
not for this one.
What is this dude? No. Well, yeah, but
Okay. The term is being used as a bludgeon both politically and sociologically to wrongly synchronize the demonic Christ-rejecting Talmudic Jewish faith and tribe to our Christian faith. This wicked synchronization has led to countless treasure and endless bloodshed of Christians on behalf of countless treasure.
Could you, by the way, also pull up the comment from Goa 9034?
I have an idea. I just thought I saw was demonic Christ-rejecting Talmudic Jew. I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't have any contempt for my education under the rabbis. I'm incredibly grateful for my education under the rabbis. I've learned a lot in my education under the rabbis that led me to Christianity eventually. Not only that, I have a lot of respect for many of the rabbis I studied with till this day. In fact, there's people that I studied with, rabbis that I learned with for a very long time, that Christians could strive to be more like. I would say that certain rabbis I studied with act a lot more Christ-like than a lot of the Christians I've met. So no, I don't actually have any contempt for rabbis or the rabbis I studied with at all. That's just a lie.
Dude, this is the thing that
Before the
literally
Christian era and
grinds
Christian
my.
era?
Yeah, before Christian era. Now there's very few things that literally will just make me blind mad. It's polygenists using the Bible to justify their polygyny, which I've done now like 3 weeks of ranting on, and BCE and CE. This makes me so mad. My book is gonna have AD and BC. If there's literally no way to justify the use of CE, it is the dumbest
Yeah,
dumbest thing that academia ever came up with.
in what sense
Like-
is this the common era? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
In what sense did the common era begin in 0 BCE? What about 0 BCE kicked off the common era?
Sorry, we have a full-on retard situation in the chat. You're permanently is that bitching in your videos and streams about the rabbis. When I say the rabbis, I'm talking about the rabbis of the Talmud, the rabbis who compiled Jewish codes of law, the rabbis who made theological differences in their own religion in response to Christianity. I'm not talking about like your local shul and the rabbi there. I'm not attacking Jews. I'm not attacking rabbis in your local community. Do you not get the difference there? Do you not understand that this can be a theological debate without coming after any individual person? No, you can't. That's why you're attacking me in the chat.
Well, to be fair, she is a Christian, so it's not a Jew starting to fight for that.
Is Gamaliel
Well, Jew
sainted?
adjacent. Mm-hmm. Gamaliel is a saint for defending the Christians at the time. At risk to his life, essentially.
Hot minute.
I was listening to a God Logic stream before coming on, and there was a Muslim who come up and he,
Oh
you
yeah.
know how sometimes Muslims will come up and they'll be like, dude, I have some new thing you've never heard of before, and you're just mad that you can't respond to it because it's so awesome. His thing was, hey, the Torah and Injil are actually just parts of the Quran. They're not separate revelations. They are parts of the Quran. And it was very funny to listen to. I'd never
Which,
heard that
to
before.
To be fair,
so
their view of the golden tablets does kind of make that make sense. It's wrong, for sure, but you could at least like see how they come to that conclusion. Also, if Israel wants to hop up, he can just hop up. We can fit up to 8 people on stage.
Can you
I mean,
boot
I
one of the panelists?
Say,
Okay.
hey man,
Yeah, like
I haven't spoken
Israel
to
has
Israel
my
that been
phone
on the
number.
screen.
He
I
has
wasn't
Ash's phone
informed.
number. Israel, if he wanted to hop up, he's more than welcome to.
I mean, I like
Ash-
Israel and I like
text
doing streams
Ash
with him, but
on
at the end of the day, like he's not a Christian, and for the most part, I want to promote Christianity. So
Yeah.
I was gonna say Ash actually has the power to just conjure him onto the stream, so he can just, he can boot one of us, and he could just pull it up, and he'll just appear.
So there was a recent debate
just
that was
say,
held.
Kugel, toil in trouble.
There's a recent debate that was held between GodLogic IP and Bell, and then 3 other Muslims. I think Itachi was one of them. I still don't know why she's named Itachi. But
Naruto, man.
well, that's what I thought. But I was like, isn't that stuff
She's a
haram?
weeb.
I don't know. Like,
You're gonna
It's
tell me
making
the name?
images.
Are you gonna tell me Itachi? The name Itachi is not a Muslim.
no.
name? Get outta here.
Yeah. Are
Excuse
you
you.
going to tell me that Joseph Smith isn't a Muslim name?
Oh, that
no.
was a Muslim name.
Yeah, he was right, but
Undoubtedly Muslim.
undoubtedly black. But anyways, the guy was like, the guy was
I hear
like,
George Washington was a Muslim.
yes, bro. Well, I mean,
But Baba
If you
Ganoush
go
did.
watch Young
That's what
Washington, it's
Baba Ganoush
it's actually the story about how he gave his life over to the Prophet Muhammad.
yes, peace.
Yeah,
be
and
Unbelievable.
conquered the
upon
British,
him.
right? That was the argument. That made
Dude,
sense to me when
yeah.
I heard that.
They take inspiration from his story today as they,
Yeah.
carry on their antics. But he said, hey, he was talking to God Logic and them, and he was like, hey, in the original Torah and Injil, the coming of the Prophet Muhammad was not something up for debate. It was throughout. It was prolific. It was all over the place. You could not miss the coming of Muhammad in the Torah and the Injil. And one of the comments by this guy Emuna reminded me of that, because he said the vast majority of rabbis are more knowledgeable biblically than 99% of Christians. And I thought it was funny because I was like, they actually missed the Messiah. But then you got this Muslim who's trying to insert his pagan Arabian prophet into the Bible and acting like Christians are retards because they can't find Muhammad there. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. The
While
two
also
ends of the
affirming Jesus
spectrum.
is the Messiah.
Right.
He's appealing to rabbis who reject Jesus as Messiah, while he himself affirms Jesus as Messiah. It's just nonsense.
I think most
Um,
apologists are in good terms with Muslims at large. I mean, to be fair, most Muslims at large do definitely believe in Sharia and the subjugation of the world. But
I'm wondering if I do some joke accents while I make a joke about something, if I would end up getting banned for it at some point somewhere. But to weigh out the pros and
I feel like
cons.
we talked about that on the. Oh no, it was on
Oh yeah.
my pirate stream. That you still need to do
Oh,
your
yeah.
pirate accent. Yeah. Yeah.
You ever hear that?
The
So,
iPad's ready.
so this pirate walks in with a peg leg into a bar, and he has the wheel of his ship in the front of his pants. And he walks in and tries to order a drink, and the bartender says, "Man, why do you have your wheel in your pants?" And he goes, "Oh, it's driving me nuts."
Yo.
Yar, matey, that make my pig leg shiver.
It made me peg leg shiver.
Uh,
If you're gonna do a pirate voice, you have to go into like gruff, low tone at the end of certain
Yarr.
sentences. I was sailing on the high seas.
right.
You
Right.
can't just do it in. You have to run out of breath part of the way through.
Yar,
Took a-
if I took like this.
I took a barrage of grape shot in my lungs.
Well, Yar, I was doing
that'd be
this.
why I'm running out of breath.
It's why I can't breathe.
I'd be reading the Bible like this. I would not be able to read for 3 hours like this on live stream if I talked like that every time.
Ash the Jew pirate. I feel like that's. I was gonna say might be a redundant term, but I think that would actually veer into anti-Semitism.
Is Ash captain of the Jew pirates? Ash D Mays.
Yeah, dude. Nah.
Oh my gosh.
Go find the one.
Oh, he for sure does. His voice is already way closer to pirates just talking naturally than mine. I have such a high-pitched voice.
You make the assumption that I'm not in fact a real pirate. Captain Jewbeard. We have a winner.
All right, that's pretty good. That makes me pretty
Long John Shekel.
round.
Because Shekel's a silver. in
Oh
Hebrew.
my gosh. When you all do those
The
accents,
Phoenician pirate.
I saw a video. It was a guy saying, "Would you call the auto parts store?" And the guy on the other line is always out of breath. It's like, all right. So you need the You said you got a 2004 Mazda.
It's supposed to be a pirate answering the phone store at the auto parts place.
That's
Right.
what it sounded like.
Got a 2004 Chevrolet.
Just breathing
Gotta put a
really
muffler on it.
deeply.
Why is your muffler on the ground?
See, I was supposed to do this 2 weeks ago, but then after my vacation, I got sidetracked working on my book. I still haven't made the video, but I will be doing a stream with David on this soon. So,
Okay, guys, this is actually
How come
perfect
I
because Ash is
Yeah.
here. This is perfect. I had a hilarious skit idea that I don't know how. I think it would go really well. I don't know why it wouldn't, but I had some pushback. But just hear me out. I'm really surprised Babylon B hasn't already done this. So, since we have our first American Pope, okay, I think it would be really funny to do a skit about an American Pope and that their first the first papal decree instead of what was it called, the Humanitas, the encyclical he put out, instead the encyclical is him going over all the changes that he's making, like how the new Vatican sponsor is Coca-Cola and how the Vatican is a proud sponsor of the NFL. It just like begins to corporatize and,
If you don't like the Red
monetize
Sox,
the
you're
Catholic
anathema.
Church. Yeah,
Right. Right. Yeah.
he starts going over his least favorite sports teams. Like, all right, yeah, they're excommunicated. If you,
Well, he's
if
from Chicago.
if a Catholic
And
plays
you
for
got
the,
it wrong. If it's a Jewish pirate, it's land oi, not ahoy.
Mm.
Landboy.
if a
Dude,
player,
Why
plays
can I
for
get?
the
I can't get in trouble for a
Cubs,
pirate accent, but if I did like Japanese, would I get?
Oh, I don't know.
I wonder how you'd fit
Dude,
Japanese into the
There'd
context of the
be,
stream, though.
bro. There'd be Ash up there. He said, they got him off the port bow.
I want the plank, guy.
Yeah.
I wonder how you could get
yeah, super
Japanese into
chat.
the context of the stream. Would have to be like finding like Miyamoto Musashi in the Bible or something.
well, no, well.
I know
One
a
of the-
decent bit of Japanese,
Pope-
actually.
The Pope loves the White Sox. One of the best players on the White Sox is Muratashi Murakami. Oh, hold on. He's a Japanese player.
His name is Naruto.
I'm linking this whole thing. Don't worry. It's gonna link. I'm gonna link this
Rugrats has a lot of Jewish symbolism. Yeah, one of the
They're
families
literally
is Jewish.
Yeah, the
have
grandfather's
Rugrats Hanukkah.
Jewish. Yeah, it's a Jewish family.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Rugrats is a Jewish show, basically.
Munetaka Murakami is the star,
Right.
like star player of
That
the
was my
White
next
Sox.
guess.
Munetaka Murakami. So hey, there you go. It's
Chinese
all
pirates.
connected.
I don't think the Japanese are our greatest ally, but they're up there.
Didn't
They're
the
not
Japanese
far
have like their
off.
own thing, like a pirate like thing at some point?
Well,
The Chinese did.
if you take Avatar literally, then yes, they were pirates,
Oh.
and they just went and conquered everybody. No, but they definitely did though. Like they did some really bad things in
Oh yeah.
Eastern Asia. They
No.
were
Yeah.
not good people
No.
Oh,
at
yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Chase, are
Yeah, I
you gonna
told
try
this-
and tell me
this story before.
The
Are you gonna try
One
and-
Piece. Anyway, sorry.
You're gonna sit here and tell me that the history I understand that the only bad person in World War II was Hitler is wrong? You're gonna tell me there were other nations were doing bad
Dude.
things too?
Well, the
Careful now!
Japanese
If you
Japanese
start
were
saying there
actually
was
the
other bad
worst.
people, you're an anti-Semite.
The problem is that the Japanese were actually doing bad things way before World War II.
Yeah,
And
and way worse stuff during it.
and way worse stuff during it. Like,
And
yeah, it was pretty bad. And they also horribly abused their own people, like convincing them that being a kamikaze pilot was a good. just like the level of absolute narcissism you have to be like, hey man,
You froze right when you said kamikaze pilot, so we got
yeah,
concerned.
no, I know. But like they literally convincing swaths of their young male population to become kamikaze pilots is like they did not teach them how to land. You have to understand this. These people were
Yeah, young
crazy.
kids.
These people were insane.
Yeah.
And then people who were
Yeah.
so the worst part is that since it's an honor shame culture, people who were kamikaze pilots who didn't fly their planes into ships were ostracized from their communities.
But how
Even
did they
after
land?
World War II.
Also, so I brought this up on the screen. For those who've never Googled this, don't Google it unless you just want to be sad. But this group of people is like the worst group of people that have ever lived, that we have recorded on paper. They did grotesque, horrible things to humans during human experimentations. And if you actually read about the experiments they did,
Yeah, don't read
and
about that. I'm avoiding
it's brutal. It's brutal.
Who are-
I've read a good bit of it.
Are they Russian?
No, that's the Japanese.
That's the Japanese.
Science.
Because I remember the Russians took and tortured brutally Nazi
No, they did.
war prisoners as well.
It
But
wasn't that they were torturing people; they were experimenting on them. So
Well,
it was
so did the
live
Nazis.
Human experimentation.
or not well, Nazis did that too, but so did the Russians.
I've read the comparisons between them. It's not as bad.
Oh, it's not as bad.
Like, it's not as bad. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into specifics, just both because of
No,
TikTok,
yeah,
YouTube, or
that's
TikTok, but,
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. No, it's not great. The Japanese are actually so bad, and they did so many bad things during the colonial Japanese, specifically Imperial Japan. I worked at a Korean factory for a bit on Gook, and
You made Koreans?
I had to do Korean sensitivity training for 2 weeks before I started the job because I had Korean bosses that were like on the line. So we had to like
Jeez, and
learn
they
how
say
to shake their
Jews are
hand, how to
sensitive. Wow. We don't make you do sensitivity
learn
training
how
before
to
you can do
do-
business with us.
you had to do all these random things and learn all these random things. And then right before we finished the course, the Korean woman that was running it, she said, "Okay, and never mention the Japanese." And they were like, "Okay."
What?
She's like, "Yeah, never mention the Japanese and never mention this island because it's our island. It's
But
not
they
their
got
island.
it.
It's our
Yeah.
island."
Oh yeah, no, I know.
You'd
They-
think
they
they want
currently
more
own
people
it.
talking
Yeah.
about it if it's their island that they don't
No.
own.
They don't want to talk about it.
Well, it's
Can you
Um,
imagine it's like
We're
before
on the
you
other
come
side of
into
the
my
world.
work in my bagel shop, you have to go to the Holocaust Museum for a week. Otherwise, you can't work here.
They were very, very
That's silly.
specific people. They also got in trouble with OSHA because they kept throwing chairs at their employees and like punching people in the face.
What?
Yeah, so the factory almost got. It was the first factory they ever had in America, and it almost got shut down because they had most of theirs in China, and they actually had like 3 extra people hired per shift. So if anyone died, they could just keep working. So that's like their standard of work in other countries. Then in America, they had like a shortage of people working, and they got almost shut down like 3 times before they even started production
Mm.
because they kept breaking OSHA violations, including like verbally and physically assaulting their workers. So, yeah, great
Have you
job.
sune the Dave
Chris, how do you get
Chappelle
into
skit
these
where
situations?
he's got the sweatshop in his basement?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
So, a buddy of mine, some years back, we went on a business trip to China, and we went to eat at the Chabad house there in Shanghai. And my friend thought it would. He doesn't know, but he was saying something about like to the rabbi about like, oh yeah, you know, it'd be cool if we had time to go to Japan. Japan's so cool. This Japan's so cool that. And the rabbi was like, yeah, don't say that around my staff here. Don't talk about that. Like quiet on the Japan.
There's multiple people that eat dogs, but you're probably thinking of China. But there's a lot of the East Asian countries that.
I thought
also
he meant
participate.
meth addicts.
Well, they do that too, but that's here in the States.
Oh.
Yeah.
Super chat.
Sorry if I'm late, but I
Congrats
wanted
on
to
your
say
baby.
congrats to the new baby. Thank you so much. My father recently had a successful surgery around the same time as the newborn came. He's still in recovery and physical therapy. God is good. Bless you all. We'll pray for your father. Hope he gets better soon.
I would just like to clarify. He did say congrats to the new baby, so technically the congrats was not for
And
Ash.
yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately,
It's not directed at me, but I'll
Sure.
thank on behalf of the baby.
Yeah.
The baby sister.
I think that would be appropriate.
Arigato.
How is your daughter doing?
She's doing really good. Awesome, actually. Yeah, happy baby.
You've adjusted to
Old now.
fatherhood, early infancy stage again.
Yeah, it's like very you know what I noticed?
Mm.
I think that there's been like these studies that have done about like men's reactions to having newborn babies. And like there's recently been like studies done about like the physical effects. It's like you don't realize that there's physical hormonal effects as a father when you like smell your baby.
Mm-hmm.
So wild. It's like apparently your testosterone goes up by like 180% or something like that. Like men are known to be like highly aggressive in like the month after or 2 months after their babies are born. Pretty cool stuff.
You also build up a bit of fat, just in case you have to go hungry. Well, I mean, hey, and the dad bod is real. Both the women and the men get fat during pregnancy, to then hopefully not need to like starve to provide for the baby if possible. And fatherhood is just a weird experience. And my wife wants a third, and I have not wanted a third. I didn't want to be a dad before I had my first kid, so I was already not in that mindset. And now I have 2 kids now, and she wants a third. And I'm like, we have a boy and a girl. They're already like basically potty trained. We're almost just out of like toddlerhood into just like kidhood. And she just wants to get it restarted again. And I am not prepared or ready for that.
I mean
even
for
a little
10.
bit. Your wife wants 10 of them?
No, she wants like 6. I want 10. We'll probably split the difference at 8.
Man, that is so many big. Well, actually, at that point, you have the oldest raising the youngest. Like you don't.
Right, you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Is your goal to have?
It's a pyramid.
My
scheme.
5-year-old sweeps very well, so that's good.
Right. Amen.
Is your goal to have an organized sports team?
I thought you were going to say something else when you said organized.
No, like when all 10
I watched
of
The
them
Godfather too many times.
This way you can have all of them playing a sport, and you can have like a full roster of children.
I need a battalion, you know.
Right. A legion.
Well, let's not use that one. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I already thought maybe 10, and then I found out about like Father Josiah, and I'm like, I gotta beat Father Josiah.
Father Josiah Trenum?
He's pretty based, so I have to beat him. A fleet, exactly.
Right.
Fleet of children.
Wait, how many?
Well, at that point,
how many is Father
A
Josiah?
baker's dozen.
He has 10, I think.
Oh well.
So there's
Israel
this
had 13.
Squadron.
I was about to tell a story about a rabbi, but he's actually well known for this story, and I think it would dox my family, so I'm not going to say the story. Never mind.
Understandably so.
Yes, let's keep that one.
Leave the gun.
Leave the gun. Take the cannolis.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. It was funny. Something happened. So, a player, the MLB draft just happened. I was thinking about this earlier. A player got drafted that went to a school in my area, and I think Chase would know who this person is.
Yeah, I do.
And I was going to ask on stream, "Oh, Chase, did you hear about so and so who got drafted?" And I thought, I went, wait a minute, that would absolutely dox us. So I didn't, but it was really cool because a local person got drafted pretty early.
Very good baseball player.
I'm as vague as I could possibly be. Got drafted pretty early. You know,
hey, from all they know, we could live
like,
in. Sorry, I was just gonna say, for all they know, we could live in Japan. I mean, they got all the best players over there, dude.
That's true.
What are our thoughts on Goodfellas though? So you brought up Godfather earlier.
Yeah, Godfather's the better movie.
I've not seen Goodfellas. I have seen all the Godfathers.
Like the scene with like the interaction between Sonny Corleone and the lawyer. What's his name? The Irish lawyer. Tom. Crap, I can't remember his name. But the lawyer's like talking to Michael, who's taking over the family at some point, basically, or not yet because Sonny's still around. But he goes, Michael, 100 lawyers, or sorry, he goes, a lawyer with his briefcase can, take out 100 guys with guns. And Sonny is like walking through the kitchen, like making himself food, and he goes, he like stops, he taps Mike. He's like, Mikey, if you ever got 100 guys with guns on your side, don't trade them in for some fucking lawyer. Like, it's like words of wisdom, words to live by.
I don't know. I think that Goodfellas has a better depiction of what the mafia actually was. And well,
That's because what's his
extent,
name? Joe Pesci's like literally an actual mobster.
Oh yeah, no, we're well aware of that.
Like,
but
for
I
real?
feel like The Godfather is what people like fantasize about. That's one of the reasons why I really like, which I don't know that I would recommend any of these movies for any of you people to watch, or this particular show, but the Sopranos is a fantastic show, but I can't recommend
that
it.
show was really boring for me. I didn't like it.
I thought it was good, but I don't formally recommend that show to anyone just because it's very what is a good word? It's very vulgar, and the word that Calvinists use to describe everyone.
What happened was the 70s came and all the Italians started wearing tight pants.
Depraved. Thank you. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Extremely depraved show.
Reprobate.
He asked how did the Italians lose New York to Ugandans? What happened was you hit that era where all the Italians started wearing like tight disco pants, and all the Ugandans came and were like, "Why are you gay?" And that was the end of it.
And they won
immediately.
The Grease era.
It
like,
ceased.
oh, well, that's it. It's over.
Yeah, the drug racketeering all handed right over.
Grease was the downfall of New York.
Who's that? The Italian, like the New York Italian comedian. What's his name? He talks about his friends like Passover Seder dinner, or his girlfriend's Passover Seder with her family, or something like that.
I don't know.
Sebastian something. Anyways, he's really funny.
I don't know.
So
I've kind of been out of the.
I was going to ask Ash. So, in the Eastern Rite Catholic Church, you guys would do a divine liturgy. Then you wouldn't do mass.
Correct. Yeah, we do everything basically exactly. The only difference between literally the only difference between us and the Orthodox is, like a blessing for Pope Leo in the liturgy.
Because I was going around and I went to a bunch of different churches for like right after I stopped working for my church.
Oh yeah, Sebastian Maniscalco. Yeah, that's the guy. Sorry.
Because I just for 3 years had no ability to go to any other kind of church, but just because I worked on Sundays, obviously. But I felt like I needed to go to a different. It's no offense to like the Orthodox church that's in my area, but it's a missional church, and nothing like
like a small mission.
Yeah, like they have a building now, but they didn't. It's not one they've actually built themselves. They took over a building, so like the iconostasis had not like fully been built yet.
They have like icons like hanging from like wires.
Yes, it was like propped up on the walls, and I felt like I was not giving them like the full like you know what I mean? I don't want to say
Where the
anything,
chanter's good, that's like that'll like make up for all of that if they have good chanters.
Yes. However, it just really threw me off because it was like 3 college age guys, like probably all like 20. I was just really surprised. I also just didn't. When I came in there and everybody was standing, and I was like, okay. And there were chairs on the side, but it was very much implied these chairs are only for women and children. It's like if you sit down, just know we think poorly of you.
We have pews because ours is a Latin church that was taken over. And so there are pews like connected to the concrete and can't be removed very easily. But you don't sit. So the pews actually make it worse because you can't move around very well.
I can. There was one of the
like
dudes.
my kids can sit, when they're tired, so that's good. Like it's nice that it's right there. But
there were 2 guys who were hitting the full on. I mean, they were head to toe. They're like head touching their toes on their full bows, and I was
it's
just
hard when there's a pew in front of you. You end up...
Yeah, I was with my buddy. I was like looking at him, and he's very seriously considering orthodoxy. And I'm looking at him and I'm looking at them and I'm like, hey, what are you doing right now? I was like, you better get on it. Get to moving.
Bow, touch the floor.
Yeah,
I think you make the sign of the cross something like 100 times plus during an Orthodox or Eastern Catholic liturgy. Anytime that you say God, basically, anytime that you talk about the Trinity, like other times, if there's a saint who has like who's a theologian and it's like in their title, right? When you say theologian, you cross yourself.
That's a lot to memorize.
Yeah. Well, you just do what everyone else is doing.
Nah, fair.
Monkey see, monkey do.
I attended mass, and I attended
Whoa. We're not gonna just skip past that comment, bro. Pull that the heck up.
Wait,
a spaceship, infinite cosmos. Please, we're not skipping past this. This is not going. We're not letting this scroll. Who knows that the incarnate heavenly Lord God Jesus Christ has a spaceship of an ideal cubic shape? What?
Like a
somebody screenshot that?
This has to be screenshotted. It's going right now.
Okay, hold up.
Kaboom.
Okay.
What on earth?
Well, it wouldn't be on Earth. So
well, yeah, exactly. It isn't on Earth. You're correct. Oh my goodness.
Hold on.
What
Is this
L. Ron Hubbard?
I think he was asking me about the Shroud of Turin earlier.
This is L. Ron Hubbard.
I was asking about the Shroud of Turin.
Dude. What's that guy's name in Scientology? Xenu? Go, come on
Xenu?
now, bro.
Yeah.
The guy with the shampoo
He shall not
spirits.
be named.
Yeah, bro. He's
shampoo
the
spirits.
dude in the South Park episode, bro. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, he threw all the aliens into the volcano that
Yeah,
then had
Prince or
nukes go
Michael
off within the
Jackson?
volcano.
Oh,
And
dang
then
it.
that went out and inhabited all the bodies of humans, and then that slowly spread out as humans reproduced.
I'm assuming that's how they explain like evolution. They're like, oh no, they were just really primitive apes whenever they
Is
first
the spaceship
received souls.
Ezekiel's temple?
I have no idea. I think it's funnier if we just
rectangular
leave it
shape?
without its context, personally.
I have no idea.
You see, it's a tungsten cube.
Right. The fitness gram pacer test.
I keep seeing this question about open theism, and I have no idea what open theism is.
This is Chris's realm of expertise.
The hell was that hand motion?
Oh, I'm just saying.
This has been a long
This
debate
is Chris's
amongst-
time.
Yeah.
You know? He's ready.
Real quick, I just wanted to.
Sorry, yeah, I interrupted.
I'm just gonna
Angel.
close my thought. So I went to 2 masses.
Oh yeah.
I went to the 1031 at my local parish, but there was also my buddy who's Catholic was like, no, you have to go to the 8 a.m. And I was like, why? He's like, because they play guitar at the 10:30. They can't. That's just not right. And I said, oh, I didn't know it was that serious. And I was like, all right, I'll go to the 8. And you know what? At the 10:30, as a Protestant, I didn't see anything wrong because I was like, oh, they got guitar here. Interesting.
He feels
And
right
then-
at home.
Yeah, I was like, this is it.
I mean,
It's But then I went to the 8, and honestly, I understood. I was like, oh, something about all of us just singing along to a hymnal.
Was it the 8 o'clock
I
a
get
Latin
it.
mass, or was that also Novus Ordo?
They were both Novus Ordo. I don't think anywhere in my area does any.
I've never
traditional
been
Latin masses.
to Novus Ordo or Latin mass. I've only ever been to our liturgy. In fact, I've only ever been into one other church in my entire life.
Oh,
Yeah. So there's that.
I like to
Yeah.
just explore around. I just like to go around for fun, meet people, shake hands. Anyways,
Yeah.
Chris, you could.
Before we lose this thought, there was a Babylon Bee post that they made that was like, it just said jackpot real big, and then the description was like, local church has hymnals, male pastor, and pews. Anyways,
Find that anywhere no more.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Open
I see
theism.
this comment about the 9 a.m. like first English and then Spanish. So in our liturgy, a lot of it's in English, but then for Melkite, so our priest will do like certain portions of it in Arabic, and then our chanters will do some stuff in Arabic, and then there's obviously elements that are in Greek, but then also there's Spanish. So we get a whole language gamut. And then for the gospel reading on Pascha, we actually had, I think it was 13 languages. We read the gospel. I read it in Hebrew. Yeah. We had, what's it called? Church Slavonic, Russian, Ukrainian, Arabic, English, French, Spanish, Latin. It was pretty cool. Some Latin priests showed up after their mass that they did in the afternoon, and they were reading in Latin and stuff. Pretty cool.
speaking Jewish.
Nice.
You know what's really cool though, also before we leave that, so the Orthodox, so you have like the Latin Mass, right, in the Catholic Church, and then you have like the Novus Ordo, but there's Western Rite Orthodoxy that has Latin Masses that are around like earlier and around, like more like the Latin Mass, like the Galician Rite and Mozarabic and all these other like older like Western Rite Masses. So it's pretty cool that they have that also. It's like it's all preserved.
So, the comment about open theism. There's like been a big hubbub about open theism a lot lately. And most people, in my opinion, are probably open theists and just don't realize it. Depending on how you define it. So if you think that there's like legit possible options for you to go down, I would lean towards you probably affirm some form of open theism. But if you think the future is closed, like you actually don't have an option, then you would be some form of closed theist. So there's the open theism and the closed theism. Open theism is basically saying that the future is undecided. That you don't have like, it's not ontologically true that the future will happen the way it's going to happen no matter what. So the way God sees the future is a little bit different than like A to B, there's no path deviating, you just have a straight line. That would be the closed theistic position. And then open theism is more like, if I were to go slam my hand in the door right now, that would lead to a different series of events in the future than if I were to not do that. Like that's a literal option for me to do or not to do. Or like, same thing, I could drink my Gatorade right now, or I could not drink my Gatorade right now. That would lead to
is the
two
question
different
about
realities.
the overall, it's not a sovereignty issue, it's God's omniscience basically comes into question for some people by saying that essentially?
The people who don't understand it, yeah, they basically. So I feel like a lot of people who dunk on open theism, they don't have a firmer grasp.
Maimonides
on it.
would for sure be
And
an
they
open
say-
theist. Like Judaism is,
I think-
basically, like fully open theist in that sense, if that's what I'm understanding.
I think most people are. But essentially, like the
But I say the
primary
church
claim
denies
is that
fully,
God
though, if I'm not mistaken.
God has free will. So because God has free will, he can choose to do things or not do things. So if it's a closed theistic position, God doesn't have free will because his divine foreknowledge dictates his own actions. So he is forever going to do what he knows he's going to do in the future. Whereas if the future is not closed and it's open, God has free will as well. So now
Right.
God
The
can
problem
choose,
with the whole discussion
am I
is
going to do this or am
assuming
I going to do that?
that time applies to God in that fashion in the first place.
Right. So that's if you have an A view of B time or a B view of time. If you view time as a series of cause and effect, or if you view time as a substance. So if you have the cause and effect nature, then the view is basically as soon as time began to exist, it's impossible for God to go outside of time. So he chose to limit himself by creating the universe. And once that happened, he's now a part of cause and effect. So he's the uncaused causer. As soon as the cause has happened, all other things are just a cause and effect chain. Now, whether or not God affects the past or affects the future, that's its separate thing. But he is still now a part of the cause and effect chain, at least at any point in it. So for him to then remove himself from the series of cause and effects would basically be undoing the universe's existence. So God is now within the series of cause and effect after creation, no matter what, as long as creation continues to exist. So we would say that God willingly chose to limit himself, to be a part and to be familial with us, which is also why God describes himself as the God of the living. He says, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I am the God who is with you now. So we would basically say that time is a linear continuation and God is experiencing it with us as we are going through it now. And his knowledge of the future is basically Molinism, where he knows he knows all possible futures with the certainties and probabilities of it happening in the way that it happens, and he fashions it together for his own good. Which is actually like a higher view of God's ability because it's more impressive. Like it's much more impressive to do a challenge run.
I feel like it all boils down to
the
the same issue that like Calvinists run into, which is like having trouble reconciling free will with God's sovereignty. I feel like it runs into the same kind of problem. Like you don't like it's not even a conversation that makes sense to have in that sense, right? It's like these aren't up for quite like these are not knowable elements, right, about how God functions and works.
Right. There's a lot of it that we just can't know for sure.
Somebody said Cardinal Ash. I wasn't speaking on behalf of the church. I was saying what I think would be, and also I think of myself
Ash.
I think of myself more of as a winged snake rather than a bird. IDF reference. Who gets it? Who gets it? Oh, okay.
I thought you were being a dragon, but
dragon.
Yeah. No, the paratroopers in Israel, the logo, like the unit for the brigade, like the logo for the brigade is a winged snake, and the way that came to be was when I think it was Nasser, president of Egypt, said, "Oh, when Israel has paratroopers, snakes will fly." Or something like that. And so we made our unit logo a flying snake.
Snakes flew.
Yeah. So my view of open theism is actually a bit different than how it's typically articulated. But it's basically just, I'm trying to focus on God's free will more so than our free will. Our free will is a consequence of God's free will. So then God can know all things that are possible to be known. But from my position, it wouldn't be possible to fully know exactly what outcome is going to happen, which is how God can regret things in the Old Testament. And also how, like David, whenever he is being chased by Saul,
I don't think those statements about God's regrets is a statement of fact. I think it's a poetic license. Right? Because if you look at 1 Samuel, when God says, I regret that I made Saul king, like 10 verses later, he's like, God is not a man that he should regret things. Right? It's obviously not, there would be a contradiction, right?
Right.
I don't think those are ontological statements about the nature of how God functions.
Yeah.
Cool.
But you do have like the example that is given is the fulfilled prophet, or the state whenever Saul's chasing David, David goes down to, I believe it's Golgotha. or
No, it's
whatever that
it's
city
the
is.
city of yeah, because it's the one that he saved just verses earlier.
Ekron?
The city of no where he had his buddies wait around with the stuff,
Yeah.
and then he went
Yeah.
and routed the the Philistines who had raided the town. What was that town called? It's a super
Yeah.
important story.
I do not remember. I
It's
could
not
just Google it.
Mi'kmash.
It's not fun.
It
Like the
is
guy in the chat has a good point there. It's like he didn't regret because he doesn't know. It's more of like the kids did it again. It's like the same thing when I tell my son, like, you see, I gave you the ice cream before dinner, and now you didn't eat your dinner. So
Hell
maybe
yeah.
I shouldn't have given you the ice cream, right?
David.
It's like I knew that
It's
going
Killia.
in, right?
What town?
So Saul, Killia, he chases him to Killia, and then he takes the ephod, which is like a yes and no, sign from God. And
Right.
he's asking him, okay, God, is David going to, or is Saul going to besiege me in the city? And God said,
Yeah,
yes.
it's Keila.
And he will.
Keila. Sorry. That's what I thought.
And then he says, okay, will the citizens hand me over to him? And then he says, yes. And then David leaves, and then Saul goes home because he found out David left. That seems to imply either that prophecy was wrong, because it was a prophecy, or the future changed. But if the future can change, that would imply that close theism is not possible. And I would say that conditional prophecies themselves kind of create a bubble around the future not being closed.
Do you want to pull up Go for 611 and the super chat first? I don't think we can understand how God's free will works because we are temporal in nature. We can't even imagine what it means to be outside of time. Yeah, it's interesting because like the Trinity, right? We can't understand like the Trinity in that capacity. Like, what does that mean, right? Essentially, we can understand the idea that like multiple persons having the same nature, right? But what does that mean that they are in fact one God, right?
Right.
There are certain elements that our brains can't understand, like the abstract nature of it, right? Beyond abstract, as it were. And with time, it's just one of those things. It's like, what does that mean that God knows the future, but we also have free will, for example, right? Like you're not going to figure that one out, to the fullest extent and understand what that means. Again, I feel like that's a lot of what different like determinists, like pure determinalist philosophies, right? The issue with that, right? It's like you just can't seem to reconcile free will with God's sovereignty. So you're just going to say like God, doesn't really give us free will. It's like, no, there's a way that God can do that. We don't need to understand the mechanism of that, how that happens.
What was the comment?
To the guy's point earlier, Chris does not believe that God is outside of time.
Why Melkite, not Messianic
Right.
Judaism? Okay, so there's a few very important qualifiers here, right? And important things to address. So when we say Messianic Judaism, okay, we don't want to get into a linguistic fallacy of like, oh, Messianic just means Christian because it's the English of a Hebrew word versus the English of a Greek word, right? There's unique categories here, okay? But something that's important to understand is Messianic Judaism in different congregations will be very different, right? So, for example, Radar Apologetics is a Trinitarian Christian who believes that Jesus is the second person of the Trinity and the Son of God, right? There are other congregations that call themselves Messianic that do not believe in the Trinity. Radar, for example, will not tell you that following Mosaic covenantal laws are necessary for salvation. But there are those around him that will say that, right? So there's nuance already there. That being said, there's also a very big distinction to make between Messianic Judaism in America, which is essentially a branch of evangelical Christianity that was founded originally to evangelize Jews and then became like a cool way for Gentiles to practice Jewish traditions. That would be a form of like Judaizing, like a heresy, essentially. But not getting too much into that at the moment. There's a big distinguishing factor we have to make between Messianic Judaism in America and Messianic Judaism in Israel. Okay. most believers, like ethnic Jewish believers in Christ in Israel, will identify as messianic, but they just mean we believe in Jesus. They are essentially sort of Baptist Christians, right, who happen to be ethnically Jewish. Good friend of mine in Israel, when I asked him about that originally, I said, do you find that there's anything particularly special about being a Jew who's Christian over somebody who's a Gentile being Christian? He's like, no, it doesn't matter. It's just like, this is a thing that we do for our community because we're all Israeli Jews in Israel, right? It's a safe haven for Jews to be believers in Israel, right? So it's less about specific theological ideas and more about community, of like being protected by having a community in a place that is somewhat persecuting Christians, right? Not Christians in general, to the extent that it's specifically targeting Jews who become Christians more so than anyone else. Okay. So big distinguishing factor there. Why Melkite, why, Catholic at all over Messianic Judaism? The claim that these like house church kind of ways of doing things are what the first century Christians practiced. I think if you look at the historical record, this is just not true. Okay. I was actually just studying with a member of our clergy last night. We were reading Letters of Ignatius. Like, we're talking about a student of the Apostle John, right? Is talking about the altar, using the same category and term from Malachi 1, saying that you are not in the church if you are not in communion with your bishop, that this is an apostolic role that is given through succession. This is late first century Christians, right? To me, it seems like if you deny that stuff, you'd have to think that the church apostatized in the first century, like in the apostolic age, which does not make sense from the promises of Christ. So to me, that element, like those things have to be there for it to be church. Now, is there some other element of believers who are not connected that are still saved? Not making a judgment call there, because of the Catholic Church, and by the way, even a lot of Orthodox bishops don't make judgment calls there. Like, they'll say this is where the church is, but we don't make claims about any individual person's salvation, right? Especially somebody who does accept Jesus as Lord and what that actually means, right? But it's very clear what the church is, right? The church is a place where there is a sacrificial system that's being fulfilled with an altar, referencing Malachi 1, like where the Gentile priesthood will come from, offered with incense and a pure offering, where there is a bishop, where there is a deacon, and where there is a presbyter or priest. So that's why apostolic churches. Now, why specifically Catholic over Orthodox? Navigate that decision, right? I'm not going to be the one to get into that and try to articulate exactly why it makes sense to do it that way. For me, the Melkites are a perfect example of how you can have the fullness of the church, meaning you can be an Eastern Christian and be in communion with the Pope and keep all your theological elements that are the same as Orthodoxy, right? Oh, I see Alex Soren in the chat. Father Stephen DeYoung on his channel, right? I asked him, as a Melkite, am I a heretic or a schismatic? And he says, well, as a Melkite, not a heretic, you're just a schismatic, which is worse in some ways. But yeah, like, we essentially, a lot of people in the Eastern Catholic churches are affirming a lot of things that Orthodoxy affirms, but in communion with the Pope. So obviously that's not acceptable to Orthodoxy, which is why there's a divide there, right? Because they think that the Latin Church is in heresy. So that needs to be hammered down and worked out. But that's why apostolic churches in general and not Protestantism.
Is that actually Alex Soren?
Yeah, Alex Soren.
Ash
has the best beard and a lot of brain wrinkles. Take my money, God bless. Do I have brain wrinkles? It's forehead wrinkles. They're not on my brain.
Brain
Thank
should
you,
have
Alex.
wrinkles.
I think he means you're
almost-
smart, but yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have
almost
Alex
said
on at some
something
point to
about-
talk about
Good.
Orthodoxy. He can do a better job of that. Obviously,
I've
being
watched
an Orthodox Christian than I can.
I've watched a
I'm not
lot
gonna
of his
try.
stuff. I almost said something about Orthodoxy, and I was like, oh, dang, I'm in an environment where he can come up and yell at me and tell me I'm wrong. Never mind then.
Well, you should bring him on and you
Huh?
can talk about it. Well, we
What?
can bring him on and you can talk about it. We
Oh,
can turn the whole
I don't
stream
know.
a different direction.
I don't know. I've almost called into some of their shows before because I have some thoughts, some questions about some stuff that I'd want to hear what they have to say about. But I will say
I will say this,
I
and Alex, take this for what it's worth. Alex is a really good debater, like really sharp, which
Oh, yeah.
means that there could be a situation where he's wrong and he'll still beat you in the debate.
100%.
Be aware of that.
That's Alex, I think if you're still watching, you should go challenge Joe Heschmeyer. You two would have a great lawyerly debate. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, you're probably right.
What I was gonna say, I think there's an aspect of, as someone who is as a Protestant on the outside looking in, I just think between the two sides, I find it very interesting. I was really scared for a second. I thought
I know. I was like, here he
I didn't even get my
goes,
thought
bro.
out. I didn't even get my
He's
thought
about
out
to-
yet.
He's about to lay it down.
So
He might as well be. He might as well be the Orthodox guy. He reads Greek, like he's fluent in Koine Greek.
Y'all just keep going. I have absolutely nothing to contribute, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
And another lawyer.
And another lawyer. No, I was gonna
There you
say,
go, yeah.
I think that when it comes to how the Orthodox Church is broken up nationally, I think in some respect you start to get a very Protestant feel, and that's my dog. But you start to get a very Protestant feel within the Orthodox Church, where like the fact that you can have nationalistic lines drawn that create tensions between church bodies, like Orthodox, the Ukrainian church and the Russian church, which I'm just saying I find that interesting.
I think that's a false equivocation. Like, I get the tribalism that you can find there when there's such a national identity involved, but first of all, that national identity stuff falls apart in America, basically. To an extent. But even still, I think it's a false equivocation, because there's a similar tribalism of like national identity doesn't necessarily mean that it has anything to do with like the way that Protestantism sees.
Oh, no. Hold on. I was just arguing. I'm arguing in favor of the Catholic system in the full unification, where like how you're describing, you're a part of a church that most people would walk into and think this is very different from like a Latin Rite Catholic mass, but
Right.
you would still claim to be Catholic. Where I think that you could walk into two divine I mean, I shouldn't make an assumption because I've only been to a Russian Orthodox church, but I believe you would find slight differences in the presentation of the divine liturgy. Yeah. It was an interesting experience when they started like doing all the blessings now. And I don't remember if they actually, I don't remember if they, they anathematized me.
You for being a
I don't
Protestant?
know. I don't think so. They didn't know.
He didn't speak Russian at that time. So.
I didn't get to actually. They had a lunch right after, and I felt really bad because I had to just like slip on out. I wanted to like stay around and talk to people, but I ran out of time.
Were you gonna say that there's like because of the language, national stuff, like it doesn't necessarily feel like the same liturgy in both places?
Well, I was going to start to say something, and then I realized I don't actually have enough of an experience to give an opinion, because I've only been to one divine liturgy, so I don't want to say something that I end up being totally wrong about.
I think that the only thing that changes is kind of the aesthetic feel. Like, I know that I've seen like for the Melkites, right? Like our chanters have a way of doing things that in another church you might have a completely different like style of chanting. But it's the same hymns, it's the same like troparia. You might have like a totally different like artistic feel to the iconostasis and like the way the icons are set up, and like you'll have these like beautiful cathedrals and like icons everywhere and painted on the walls and stuff like that. And then you'll have like these mission churches, like you mentioned, where there's like icons hanging from a string to make the iconostasis. And it's like, yeah, the aesthetic feel will change. The language will change. The musical style from Russian Orthodox to Greek Orthodox is going to be completely different, right? But you'll identify the features of the liturgy is exactly the same. Like you can easily pick it out, even if you don't speak the language. Like you can tell what's happening at what points. Like if you've been to one somewhere, you'll recognize it elsewhere. Like I can watch a Russian Orthodox liturgy and I can pick out what they're doing, basically.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now, will they anathematize you? I mean, that's the question, right?
I don't mind if they do or not.
Everyone I talked to while I was there was very kind. They
Keep
didn't
your
treat me
friends
like
close, Andrew.
they didn't treat me like an online apologist would treat. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Alex. Yeah, ortho bro mean treating people like that. I dare you. I told Alex on one of the streams, I was like, look, there is something to be said for like making sure that we're using the right tone with the right people. Like some people are not going to be brought to your side by being tough love with them, right? Some people will. At the same time, for people on the Protestant side to say that Orthodox are wrong for telling people that they're not saved outside of the church, right? That's an absurd thing to go to. If they think that's where the church is and that's where salvation is, they ought to be telling people that. Just like as a Christian in general, if you're a non-denominational Christian, you think salvation is through Jesus Christ, you will preach that to people for their salvation, right? It's no different in that sense. Like if you think the church is the Orthodox Church, then you should be telling people that, right? That's not mean. That's loving. Different nations are nice in Catholicism, but they also have different beliefs. Chaldean Catholics pray the anaphora of Nestorius. Yeah, that Nestorius. Orthodoxy has a unity of belief.
This is true.
To JP and Kevin Kennedy agree. True.
Everything I've watched, everything I've watched with you,
completely understandable.
Alex is like me. He will give you back the exact same energy you're giving with a little bit of an edge above it, right? So if you're being a little bit rude, you're going to get a little bit more of that back. I've noticed that. Like he's very aware of the energy that he's getting.
I would just like to point out that there are good Protestant scholars out there that we can all. I think that would be a better. It would be a better.
The question is, why aren't any of them debating any of the Ortho Bros or Catholic apologists?
Well, Chase, you're going to tell me there's someone out there that knows a little bit more about all this than JP Uncut?
What? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't know, like the JP Uncut. I thought that Buddy was cool. I turned out to be wrong. Buddy was not cool, unfortunately. Man, we love Gavin Ortland, though. I mean, come on now. Let me hear it. Man, we love him. He's a great
Gavin
guy.
Ortland is really smart, but can you honestly sit there and tell me that he stands a chance in a debate with Trent Horn?
Well, I don't think he's a good debater.
Like even a little bit?
I don't think he's a good debater, but I think he's a great guy. And I think
right. So where are all the good debaters from the Protestant side? Like I haven't seen one.
Bro, come on.
There's jokes. There's jokes about James White being the best Catholic apologist.
James White, bro. You thinking of what's his face from Alpha and Omega?
The greatest scholar of our time, JP.
No, I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be facetious. Like, where is the great Protestant debater?
Well, William Lane Craig comes to mind. But do you mean like in the interdenominational? Do you mean in like the interdenominational thing? Like who debates?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that James White does a fairly decent job. I'm just not a huge James White fan.
Yeah.
This is my problem with James White. He'll go and say he studied New Testament Greek. He studied the Hebrew, right? He gets into a debate with a gay pastor, okay, and can't get across the point well enough and starts to get frustrated and started I was studying Greek since before you were born, son. It's like, really? That's how you ended that? Like you couldn't hold your own with the gay pastor? Really? Like is that the great Protestant apologist?
Well, I don't particularly appreciate the way that James White debates Christians. I think he does good with non-Christians. Particularly Mormons. He's done good stuff, and Muslims. Yeah,
like I don't think every one of these debates are super clear cut.
Sizzle said.
I don't think these debates are super clear cut and like you're an idiot if you hold one position or the other, right? That's not what we're saying.
Sure.
Right. Even Orthodox Jews, like I think once you see the Christian side of things and you understand it, it doesn't make sense to be an Orthodox Jew. But from the Orthodox Jewish perspective, where you are viewing things through that lens, doesn't mean you're stupid if you continue to believe what you believe, right? Same with Muslims. I wouldn't say that a Muslim who's not buying the Christian arguments is inherently stupid, right? You have a certain lens that you view things through, certain biases and an upbringing and so on, right? But at the end of the day, it's like from an objective standard, looking at these debates, right? Looking at the different apologists who are doing the inter-Christian stuff. This is like I would stay out of this. Like I wouldn't debate other Christians on these things really, like in any kind of formal setting, right? I don't know enough and I'm not good enough at it. But can you honestly say that there's like a really great Protestant apologist out there who's like doing good work debating Orthodox or Catholics?
I mean,
Like
I
not
really
not that they're
don't-
wrong, not that they're wrong.
No,
but are
yeah,
they
yeah,
good at
yeah. I
it?
don't.
Is there anyone good at it doing it?
I mean, I haven't been really looking at a whole lot of the interdenominational stuff recently. That's not what we've been
I think
focusing
Yeah, I don't
on.
watch those debates.
I think
Yeah,
part of the
um,
problem is that there is an overall attitude of ecumenism within Protestantism. So I think a lot of the Protestants have stopped debating interdenominational debates, and they're just focusing their attention on things that are exterior to the faith altogether, like Islam
The
or
gospel.
Right.
Mormonism, Jehovah's Witness. And now, obviously, that's the topic of debate around all the stuff that's been happening online right now is, but that's where I feel like a lot of them have gone to, is that they're just not arguing the denominational apologetics anymore.
Yeah, well,
And-
like how are you going to stop like a wave of like there are some Orthodox churches that are baptizing like 100 people over Easter. Like how's that working out
Great.
for Protestant Christianity?
So I think most
mean-
Protestants would just be like, "That's awesome. Keep going."
Yeah. Cool.
That's not true though.
I mean, I
Like
just
a lot of Protestants are really angry about that. They don't like people being Orthodox or being Catholic.
I think it's a lower
back.
percentage of real people, and then it's a higher percentage of people online. So if you were to just go to like the average random American church and be like, "Hey, do you care if that person's Catholic, or do you care if that person's Methodist, or do you care if that person's Presbyterian?" Like, are they a Christian? Like, yeah. Like, cool.
No, I've literally come across
Versus,
like
like-
your average Protestant in real life telling me that Catholics are idolaters and like should not be in the Catholic Church. Like I've encountered that in person.
Those definitely exist. Yeah.
So
But I would still say it's a minority, not the standard.
I mean, a lot of this more nuanced, like even the stuff between like Catholics and Orthodox, right? Like you have the debates going on, about Orthodoxy, Catholicism, right? Alex is debating, I don't know if Alex has debated any Catholics, but Jay Dyer and whoever else it might be. The reality is though on the ground, right? If you look at the Middle East, Melkites and Antiochian Orthodox and Maronites and other groups a lot of them are going to each other's churches and receiving the Eucharist at each other's churches, and they don't care about the Orthodox Catholic debate. What you're saying about Protestants and stuff like that and Catholics in America, yeah, a lot of them are just like doing the mutually agreed upon stuff and trying to promote Christianity. So yeah, there is that.
Which
I think
might be ideal.
one
Yeah,
of
he debated Elijah Yassi.
I think one of the only people I can even think of right now, outside, we've already mentioned James White, and we mentioned
The super Calvinisty
There's
guys,
the-
they're almost like ecumenical guys in their mentality. Like they really like being like, you got to have these 5 points or you're crap.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm. Like
So-
our Redeemed Zoomer is one of the, I think, and his Anglican
No, I get the
friend.
comment that's saying like, yeah, we've seen the Catholics and Orthodox do that online. Yeah, everyone online is doing that. Like that's happening online for sure between everyone. Right. The point is how much is it happening in real life and how much it affects different relationships between different groups. Right. Like I'm on the side of like for me personally with my channel and everything, I'm very excited, as a new Christian and bringing people to faith in Jesus, right? So I'm not going to be there trying to get people right off the bat, like trying to fight, like you better be Catholic once you start believing, or whatever it is. Happens to be that most of the people that contact me privately from the Jewish world who end up coming to belief in Jesus end up becoming Orthodox. That's just a trend that I've seen. They don't become Catholic even though I'm Catholic. I'm not trying to convince anyone one way or the other, so I don't care to talk them one way or the other at that point. But so the majority of people, it's like, I'd say that of how many people have contacted me privately, like 60 people, let's say, that have contacted me privately about, like, oh, I saw your videos and like, I'm starting to, believe in Christianity and the claims of Christianity, right? of those people, I don't know that even one has become Catholic. I've had people become like Coptic, Eastern Orthodox. A lot of people join Messianic congregations, and I'm not going to try to talk them out of it right now. Like a good friend of mine, from childhood, end up, becoming Presbyterian, right? Or, going to a Presbyterian church. I'm not going to start arguing with him right now when he's just, come to faith in Christ. Like, oh, so now that you've, decided that you do believe in Christianity and the claims of Christianity, I don't think the Presbyterian church is the right place for you. It's just not my style personally, right? Stick with your Presbyterian church. I don't care right now.
I had a thought. I recently never thought I would ever say this. I actually miss debating Muslims.
Wait,
Really?
why?
Debating Mormons made me lose my mind. I had a horrible time with that. That, like, getting to the point when you realize that someone has no basis for standard truth and you just talk in circles
Atheists are the
forever.
worst.
I disagree. Debating with Mormons made me actually want to rip. I mean, I shaved my head, guys. I shaved my head.
Yeah.
I think that was
You
an
did
actual
literally have a nervous
breakdown I was having because I was debating people who had no basis for standard truth. And would just tell me it doesn't matter that all of the books disagree with each other. They were all written by the inspiration of God, but they're written by man, so they're all fallible.
I do.
See, that's what I'm going to do next year with Hindus. And you're showing a side of Chris that's going to come in the future of just me being like a skinhead and, running around naked outside.
Borderlands,
Clip
Chris.
By the way, I do want to add quickly. The only reason the interdenominational conversation came up was because somebody in the chat asked why I became Melkite and not Messianic Jewish. So I generally don't get into that conversation.
Alex mentioned that what happened between Jesus and whatnot and Libiano. I didn't see the full extent of it, but I was telling Chris or Chase about this in our last stream.
Stay close,
that
bro.
Jesus and whatnot had he had been doing a ton of stuff on Islam and really attacking Islam, and then he like went silent on it for like over a month, and I just thought he had moved on to Catholic things again. And then he had another video where he's like, hey, so if you've noticed, I haven't been talking about Islam. It's like, it's because I received a threat from a terrorist group. And he said he got a text from his mom that was like, hey, come home immediately. And he came home and the FBI were there. And they were like, hey, we found your name circulating in some chat rooms. And you should probably just lay low for a little bit. Just don't talk about that for a while because they definitely wanted to hurt you. And then Orthodox Muslim, so originally they had a debate set up, and then Jesus and whatnot, I can't remember his actual name, but he had to back out of it, obviously, and he told them the exact reason. He was like, hey, this is what's going on, and Libiano mocked him for it and put it on all of his socials. And
weird, Libiano did that?
You can't believe it. He seems like the greatest guy. I couldn't believe it.
What was shocking to me was that he was doing a live stream with Tuvia Singer, and Tuvia Singer has probably, of all Jewish people out there, most Jewish people, even if they're big supporters of Israel, they don't look at the situation in Gaza and go, yay, that looks fun. That's great that's happening. Tuvia Singer does. So of all people to partner with, just very bizarre that they should, strange bedfellows.
Ew.
Speaking of this, by the way, I have recently had to upgrade my security systems and the like because of similar such things. So I get it. They're more expensive than you think. I didn't know that.
I've only gotten 2 threats so far from Muslims, and the FBI hasn't showed up for any of them yet. So I doubt either of them are even remotely credible. I imagine after my book comes out, I'll get more. But I have a weapon in every room of the house, so I'm not. And I have a German Shepherd Pitbull mix dog, It was
have
very
the
territorial.
redneck security system.
So
Redneck
I have
security.
I have two redneck security systems, a real security system, a camera system, and a gun per person in my house, and many swords and knives. And I also know how to make IEDs. So
That one's gonna get your TikTok taken down. So maybe that was probably that was the one. Didn't need to put that on there. But
That's
No,
him
it wasn't
on every
Tuvia.
stream.
It wasn't Tuvia making the threats.
Why are they taking down my TikTok? Why are they taking down my TikTok?
yeah, just go ahead and end the stream. That's fine.
You've never had a stream where your TikTok didn't get canceled that I was on. Every single
Wear that as a badge of honor.
Mm.
So I actually joined a TikTok agency, and my TikTok manager was like, "So here's a list of words you're not allowed to say on TikTok."
Well, this is
and
over.
it's like
Well,
I say like 90% of like, other than like the profanity, which I don't use. I say like 90% of them every single stream. So I don't know
This
if
is
I'm.
why they're all getting taken down. That's crazy.
Yeah, maybe. But they also only get like 3 views typically. So TikTok is just not pushing it even a little bit.
You
There's
should
no
try
way
doing
you
dumb
want an actual
dances,
monkey.
maybe.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, I think we should.
You know, how,
We should push for that.
you know how you deal with the threats. You make sure you get a cross etched into every bullet. You keep it
Yeah.
right next to King James Bible.
Rub some
Mhm.
bacon grease on there.
Rub some bacon grease and keep it next to King James Bible.
I'm not-
Smack him with the King James Bible.
No.
Setting it
We
up
load
like
our own shells here.
like the is a silver bullet for a werewolf. Is that what it is?
Yes, silver
It's-
bullet for a
it's-
werewolf.
Try to remember
Talking-
Blade. What are they
Talking
using
about
Blade?
covering a bullet in bacon grease.
It's the magic bacon grease
That's
bullet.
Oh yes.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Alex is
The
asking
Muslims,
thoughts on the
yeah.
Dawagandists versus the Knuckleheads. I assume that's the Connectleys.
Oh, the
That was
Canadian.
good.
I
I haven't seen
I
it.
haven't
I've been
watched
telling Andrew this for a long time. I do appreciate Cliff and his son, but man,
I don't.
they can get us Protestants into a lot of trouble.
Like when they
they're-
brought
they're
so this is the thing
evangelists more than anything. They
So I brought this up on
into the
my-
apologetic space.
they
on my
just-
stream that I did with James Divine Mercy. I talked about this. So there's that video of Cliff and Stuart talking to Deacon Moret, and Cliff for sure knows that there's no Vatican III. Okay, he's not an idiot.
Oof.
His son, on the other hand, did mention Vatican III, and he did not correct him. Okay, in this debate with the Muslims, he made up a verse in the Bible where Jesus says this Holy Spirit is greater than I. Okay,
Stuart?
pulled it out of Chat GPT, and then when they called him out for it, Libiano called him out for it. Stuart's like, well, you don't know that he's making something up. Well, I'll give him the benefit of it. It's like, I'm saying this not as as a fellow Christian or somebody online or any of this, as a father. Okay, when your son says something really, really stupid and tries to double down on it in front of other people, you correct your son. You don't come and defend the idiocy. Okay? You don't keep your son doing those things. You educate and you help your son learn to be a man to take accountability when they're wrong. Okay?
Yeah, I just genuinely think that they should have stuck to street preaching and not come into this. I don't know, like
Yeah.
they're
Which,
just
to
they're,
be fair,
Yeah.
to be perfectly fair, Cliff on street preaching on college campuses did a
I mean, does that
ton
count
of
as
work
blasphemy of the Holy Spirit? I don't know.
for the kingdom. But
I don't know. I don't know that anyone's convinced by Cliff. I don't.
No,
I
I don't know
It
either.
it doesn't seem
I
very
think
convincing.
I don't either.
did you ever watch the Give Me an
I've
Answer
watched a lot of
series?
his stuff. Yeah, I've watched a lot of his videos. I don't believe for a second that there's a huge number of people that have come to faith in Christ because of Cliff's preaching. I just don't buy it. right? There's a lot of like random like local street preachers that like nobody knows their name, and I've seen their stuff and they're really good at what they do. Okay? Like Baptist, non-denominational, like all these like random people that are going out like from their church, they're just like decided to do this one day. You'll see like these random videos and they're really good. Like these people are really good at preaching. Okay? They have good answers for people. I like Cliff is not particularly convincing or inspiring. Even his arguments, like when people bring up the problem of evil, like I haven't found them to be very good arguments, like about the sovereignty of God and stuff like that, as like to address that through like talking about the sovereignty of God, like the idea that like God is the giver of life. Like I've never heard him talk about that in response to people bringing up like, oh, all these horrific things that happen in life. It's like God is the author of life, right? God gives us life, right? Our sin creates death, right? Helping people understand that that's what's actually happening. It's not that God is a tyrant who's arbitrarily killing people because it's fun for him, right?
Who set up the debate between the Connectleys and Libiano? Because I guess that's my other thing is why exactly were they debating these topics anyways? Because they're not, like I said, they're street preachers. I wouldn't find them to be a Christian authority against Islam.
Maybe Dr. Malik
Right.
said, "Hey, if you do this, I'll pay you money," and then they joined and he never paid them. That would be his MO.
That could be.
Yeah.
Can you all hear my dogs howling in the background?
You remember when was it Ruslan put together the
to be honest.
Dude.
Well, that would make sense about Vatican III, because
one of
Sneeko also probably thinks there's been a Vatican III. So.
First of all, one of the most
To
embarrassing
be fair, Sneeko's
things...
probably had a Vatican III.
The Book of Nicaea.
One of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen on the internet was Sneeko's debate with Moist Critical on the age of consent.
Oh, it's so funny.
I was like, this
is such a good
I cannot
debate.
believe that you did this. Were those words that come? Did you believe anything you just said? But who was it? Was it Ruslan that put together the Protestant Avengers or whatever? I was just kind of like, this is so cringe.
Yeah.
I was dude.
And it was all like just pop evangelists or just hype personalities.
You're talking about where David and Mike?
Johnny No, it was like
okay.
It was the Connectleys, Bryce Crawford, Girls Gone Bible, George Janko, and Johnny Chang.
Have a good night, RJ. Thanks for joining in.
Johnny Chang is like actually a heretic who tells people they shouldn't pray the Lord's Prayer anymore. Because
he's a KJV only guy, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, Brody's crazy.
He has so many crazy views.
The Protestant Avengers is wild. Like that is a black mark on our history, bro.
I really liked him. I really liked Johnny Chang at first. Like a lot of the stuff that he was doing from with prison ministry. And then
his testimony
then the more I watched him and I listened to him actually teach, I just kept going, that is not right. No. I was like, bro, what are you talking about?
He
got some very fringe views.
I can't. Yeah, that's like the pop. Like, no, I'm good. I do like Ruslan though. I like him as a guy. I think he's cool. I don't think he's a good debater, and I don't think he would be a good Protestant representative on the debate stage. But
yeah, no, I don't think so either. But
you own a Schofield? What are you, one of those dispensationalist Jew loving crazies?
Schofield Bible.
Yes, that's it.
Anyways, it's funny because my dad. So, as a dispensationalist myself,
British Naval Intelligence.
I learned this. Yes, Schofield.
So Schofield was connected with Oxford, and the British.
What
Naval
happened was right. Yeah,
it's my Jay Dyer impression.
But Dad's also a dispensationalist, and we grew up and we had a Schofield Bible, and it was cool. He's got some neat insight. It was a good commentary, but all this stuff about Schofield started coming out, and Dad was like, I need to like put this to bed. So Dad made a website about Schofield. If you want to go look at him and see, hey, this guy didn't actually write a new Bible and didn't tell Christians to go like financially support the reorganization of Israel and all that kind of stuff. Like that's not what he did.
I was actually pretty happy to see that Jay was going to go on Tucker. I thought, and I was hoping that he would correct the statements about the Turks being really kind to Christians. So I was a little bit disappointed about that.
You said what?
But I was hoping that when Jay went on Tucker that he would correct him about the Turks being nice and kind to Christians.
Oh yeah.
I was hoping that would happen, but I guess there's, it's Tucker's show, right?
Right. Yeah, who was that guy that said all that stuff?
That's nuts.
That guy was crazy.
I mean, it sounded like he was running through a script that Tucker had given him to talk
I
about.
know.
Like that's what it seemed like.
I was just like,
oh
what?
yeah, they were actually they were really nice and built the sepulcher like 4 times.
So when they actually the roof burned down, is that right? The roof burned down, and they put a new one on there. Is that? Come on, Tucker, is this real?
I didn't expect Tucker to know absolutely zero information about the Orthodox Church. I did not realize that he knew. I mean, I guess it's fair that there's still not I guess not a lot of people in the West know that much. I mean, I shouldn't act like I know. It's been a year of my studying, so I don't really know that. But I felt like a lot of the debate, or not the debate, the interview was like just Jay explaining the basics of what Orthodoxy believes to Tucker, and Tucker being like, "Wow."
I think he did a really great job
Ryan,
of,
tell me about these
explaining-
toll houses. Do I have to pay? Is this like one of those Democrat schemes, or is this like? Oh, okay, never mind.
I think he really did a really good job explaining like the theology of icons.
Yeah,
like the importance of that.
Jay,
I didn't see the whole interview.
It was an interesting
but,
interview.
Yeah.
I was going to mention it earlier when you guys were talking about Jordan Peterson, because Jay Dyer did. It was very funny.
You're breaking up, dude.
Me?
Yep. You're good now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You've
I was
taken
gonna
on
say-
Chase's curse.
No.
Yeah, it's transferred, right?
No, I was going to say
No,
that
you just did it.
that Jay Dyer did a spot on Jordan Peterson impression. It was very funny. I was
need to
not
see that.
expecting it when it happened. I wasn't. I was listening, not watching. So when it happened, I had to pause it and go back. It was very funny.
AP does a really good one too. Apostate prophet.
Does he do? He does a good Jordan Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley
Yeah,
did a
he
good
does.
Jordan Peterson.
He does do a good Jordan.
I can only
Peterson.
do I can't do a good Jordan Peterson for everything, just for like a few catchphrases.
Mine just turns into
Jordan
Kermit the Frog. I can't.
Yeah, there's a fine line, right?
Yeah.
There's
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? What's on the other
So
side?
Dr. Peterson, do you believe in God?
Your Allah.
Well, what does that even mean?
What does that even mean?
Yeah,
what
it's
if
like
you
a
what if you don't
Canadian-
act like a Christian?
Canadian Kermit?
Do you believe in God if you don't act like a Christian?
Did anybody watch his Jordan
How about
Peterson's breakdown
How
of
about
Exodus?
no?
I didn't watch any of it, so I don't know if it was any worth even.
There's a
Paying
very,
attention to.
very, very dumb channel called Wizards with Guns. If you
That
like
is a dumb
very
channel.
You're
stupid, like the kind of humor that
It's very-
it's 2 a.m. and
Ashley
everything's
would love
funny.
them.
Yeah, I'm
There's a
sure.
video where they do. He's pretending to be Jordan Peterson. He's just talking about skeletons, and it's so stupid. But for some reason, it just makes me laugh. Skeletrix is at the top of the hierarchy, and it's like I think it's kind of referencing Tim Robinson. So if you've ever seen, I Think You Should Leave, and they have that song about skeletons. I think it's referencing that. Probably niche humor though.
I think you should leave is the one with with the 55 burgers, 55 fries.
Yes,
I
love that show so much. It's so
yeah,
funny.
I think you should leave. It's pretty funny. I also cannot recommend this to everyone officially, but the one where he goes into the supposedly haunted house
I love that one.
killed
Oh
me,
my
bro.
God.
I was dying. I was like, oh.
One of these comes to
I
Wait.
just wanted to know if any of these freakers.
That one's
So
my
funny.
favorite, and then I also love the one where they go out to dinner with the professor, and
That looks really good.
that was real. I should have got that. He just keeps
Yeah.
looking at Tim Robinson's food, and you can tell he's
I'm
like,
just gonna take it.
I don't know if
So
I've seen
really,
that one.
really funny sequence of events. So funny enough, Alex, who's in the chat, was talking about how being Protestant is like being a sovereign citizen. Okay, not getting into that debate right now. That's just how this started. I said that to somebody out loud, repeating what Alex had just said on his stream. Next thing I know, my YouTube, which was obviously listening to me, starts giving me videos of cops arresting sovereign citizens. And I found this channel that I had seen like one video of like way back. This guy Sergeant Curtis, who has like a bunch of like videos on like police stops and stuff like that. And I went on like I'll be like sitting with the baby, like holding her on my chest just for like a while my wife does stuff like at night. And so I would just have like time where I'm just literally sitting doing nothing. And I'm watching like binge watching police stops of sovereign citizens.
"Have you seen that one where that
Oh,
cop
it's just
busts that
so
woman?
much fun.
There's like this woman who's identifying as a man or something, and she's like obviously a white woman, but she's saying she's Native American."
Oh,
Like, she's-
you mean
like-
Nancy Pelosi?
Well, she's like just coming up with
No,
all
you're
these
thinking of Elizabeth.
excuses.
What's her name?
Elizabeth
Warren?
Warren. Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth
Yeah.
Warren, yeah.
That video made me laugh too.
She's
Transracial.
one
This is
I
bad
will
for
say
my
this.
anxiety.
Native American.
I will say this: do not screw around with Arkansas state troopers.
Oh,
Do not do
Or
it.
Utah,
I can
apparently.
believe that.
Yeah, the Mormons, man.
Well, and also as a lawyer,
Uh,
being neurodivergent is not going to be a defense to a traffic violation. So
You may lose your
Time.
license.
yeah, because
Sorry,
you identify
officer,
as a,
I'm neurospicy.
excuse me. I'm a Gemini.
I'm neurospicy. I can't
Did
see
you
stop
see?
signs.
It's a
You're
full
being
moon,
very
officer.
ableist right now that I
Full
can't see red.
moon. Just because I lit up the pipe a couple minutes ago does not mean I can't be operating motor vehicle.
It's part of my religion.
Have you
It
all
cleanses me.
It cleanses
you
me
all
to
seen-
do psychedelic drugs. Anyways,
My Facebook right now is full, or my Facebook Reels is full of clips from the show Squatters. Have y'all seen those?
yo, what?
I want to
There was
watch
one with
that
a squatter
show.
in a
I-
court, and the squatter's like trying to play the sovereign citizen thing, going, yeah, I don't accept the jurisdiction of this court, but she was trying to get something like a stay on some order, and the judge is like, okay, you're not named on the case, you could leave. Like, okay, you don't want to accept the jurisdiction of the court. Well, get out of here. Like, you're not even
I
named in the
when did you
case. You're the
become a
one
squatter?
asking for the stay on this order.
I just love the premise of this show that this group of people, they get a lease from the actual landlord and they just move in with the squatters, and they're like, all right, well, we're just gonna make your life a living hell. And at one point they showed a clip, they had somebody bring in like a python, like an actual snake, and they let it loose in the house to try and get the squatter to leave.
You can't do that.
Oh, it was so funny. Up until that point, the show seemed very professional. That didn't seem very professional, but whatever works, I guess.
That's wild. Also,
I
I
guess
think
it
that
depends on the
Infinite
state we're in.
Cosmos guy is spamming.
I guess in Florida, it's a lot easier to use like snake eviction than it is in New York.
Just throw a crocodile into your house.
Yeah,
and
gator
see what
eviction.
happens.
We're
Yeah.
gonna send Sergeant Snaps in there on.
You get a
Sorry,
sea
I
That's
puppy.
really
nice.
wish I could pull up for the
Swamp
Infinite
puppy.
Cosmos guy. I really wish I could pull up. I saw a video today on TikTok that there's this audio they're using, and it's just like and then I saw there's a man in the back of this place. And it's this picture of Jesus and Mary over the earth. But on the other side of Jesus, there is this like very pasty white man with blonde hair and like a jewel crown. And he has like, I can't remember his name, but it was this theology of this alien overlord who has been watching us for decades, centuries, millennia, trying to help us. And it was just a bunch of stuff about him, and what he's posting makes me think about that. Makes me think about the secret man alien who is actually running the world.
Lord Xenu.
What would Alex say? The filioque addition to the creed has led to the tremendous furry phenomena. How?
The furry phenomena?
Furries are because of the filioque.
Have you hold on?
I'd like to know how you got there.
Have y'all seen
That's the butterfly
the
effect in
videos
action, you know?
Simple
that try to
transitive
connect-
property.
that try to connect that like
Is that a pun?
they'll try and take like the fall of Rome
Could be.
in 400s and try to connect that to LeBron winning his championship in 2016. They're like,
I did.
how are these two connected? Or did this inherently lead to LeBron winning the NBA Finals in 2016 against the Golden State Warriors?
I did like there was one video that I saw, the thumbnail was just like a bunch of basketball players in front of like the city of Constantinople, and it's like how the 1989 Knicks could have totally saved the city from having from the siege or whatever. Like I'm just like, whoa, yo.
I mean, I will give the Eastern side this, that, you know, we try not to talk about the Fourth Crusade, right?
Well, yeah, fair enough.
Real.
I was gonna say that I feel bad for like the challenges for the Orthodox side of things today, because there's people that are pretending to be Orthodox, like to undermine them, like to say crazy things about how Orthodoxy believes this or this thing or whatever it is. I was gonna say like, oh, there's nobody pretending to be like Protestant or Catholic to do that, and I'm like, wait a second, Freemasons.
That's a great.
Freemasons.
We brought it back around.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Full
That's
circle.
a great call. That's a fantastic callback. Oh my gosh.
Is Kufar Matamoros still here?
You're not even in my Discord, Ash. You're just causing fire for no reason.
Oh, are they go?
Well, no. So I have a family member. I have a family member who's a Freemason, and it's like it's always been an annoying thing to deal with. It's just always been an annoying thing.
I think one of Redeemed Zoomer's big talking points is that he pretty much believes fully that the actual like mainline Protestant churches basically got completely overrun with, you know, Marxists who are not actually Christians. But they took over the church and are, you know, rotting it out from the inside by, you know, taking them as liberal as possible. Which, you know, in my historical research of the church, I'm still in like the first 300 years. So it's going to be a while before I even get there. We'll get around.
Have you, out of curiosity, have any of you read Saint Ignatius's letter to the Ephesians?
Yes.
Parts of it.
All of you?
I have.
Not all of it.
Nope.
So I'm really cheap.
Cover to cover.
I'm really cheap and I don't want to buy a book. So I went online
I have
and
a
I copy and pasted it onto a Word document and I printed it. And
Well, you can tell whoever's translating it for New Advent is like translating it in the Greek syntax still and not changing it. Well, it's really bad. It's difficult to get through.
This one's good.
Yeah.
You can't see it because of my glitchy background.
It's in your trash.
But it has the
Yeah. It's in your trash pile.
It
Are
has
you
the
homeless
Greek.
now?
He's a squatter.
He's been
yeah.
homeless for a while yet.
He's a squatter. We're gonna go
They
get
said
him.
squatter. And maybe think of hoarders, and then I put a hoarder background. But this one's
The
great
Apostolic Fathers, yeah.
for nerds. It's got the Greek on one side and the English on the other.
So
well,
I don't think you were here before when we were saying it, but Christian Gadfly, if you look at the word for altar in Ignatius's letter to the Ephesians, is that not the exact same form of that word that's used in Malachi for the altar of the Lord and the sacrifice
for the
in the New
Septuagint,
Covenant?
I guess.
No,
have
like
to
even
check.
I can look that
yeah,
up
for the
from Logos real
Septuagint, for the
quick.
Greek Old Testament.
Yeah, I have no idea off the
Open
top
that.
of my head.
I
Isn't
can
there a
open that
point of-
Logos and check for you.
I was
Isn't
more
there-
like looking for high Christology when I read it, so you can see these random parts that are highlighted from Ignatius to the Ephesians.
Isn't there a point of contention between the Catholic and Orthodox when it comes to the fact that Ignatius mentions the threefold office? That what
I mean, very explicitly talks about there being an office of a priest, the office of a bishop, and the office of a deacon.
Yeah, he does. He's very explicit about it. But I there he says it not just in the letter to the Ephesians. So I think he says his 7 letters. He pretty much says it in at least 90% of his letters that if you don't have a priest or bishop, you don't have a church.
Well, he says you're like, he's basically like, the wording that he uses is like, if you're not where the bishop is, you're basically screwed. Like, it's pretty serious language about it.
Yeah, Ignatius does say straight up, honor the bishop as Christ honored the Father. But what is the thing about I was very confused because I do remember in the beginning that almost 2 years ago at this point that there was an argument between Catholic and Orthodox about the 3-tiered office. And I don't remember if it's that the Orthodox were arguing that Catholics go beyond a 3-tiered office, or if it was Catholics arguing that Orthodox don't have a properly structured 3-tier office. And I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, you have other roles, but they're not like different offices. They're like additional roles that do things within the liturgy, right? Like the fact that you have readers and chanters doesn't mean it's a new, like there's another office. I don't know.
See,
about
I
the
am-
I don't know about the Catholic Church having additional offices. I don't know about that.
I am just a reader and an observer at this point.
He's
So
a
I'm-
reader and a chanter.
I am one of the reader enchanters.
Right.
I've snuck my way into the Russian Orthodox Church here, and I'm chanting.
I'm trying to, like, during the liturgy, like I would love to learn how to be a reader or a chanter, but I'm like dealing with like 3 little tyrants who like they become not tyrants. They become tyrants during the liturgy because that's when it's the opportunity to like start doing stuff like that and like jumping on me and yanking on my neck. I'll be like bow and make the sign of the cross, like do a Matanya, make the sign of the cross, and like while I'm leaning forward, my son will like jump on my neck.
Alex said,
Thank you for the members, brother.
Awesome.
well, Alex is
Also,
still here.
For the members on my
It's-
channel, you can join my Discord. It's in the description on my channel. Members.
Simul is asking, were you talking about like cardinals and metropolitans and like stuff like that?
This is where I'm again. I don't know if I'm remembering correctly, but while Alex is still here, I know that there's an argument for the 3-tiered office from Scripture. I'm just trying to figure out what the argument was between the Catholics and Orthodox.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. But like all those roles, like metropolitans, cardinals, like those are all bishops. Like there's no.
Instead of saying I'm not familiar with it, try asking ChatGPT very quickly and then just saying something
and then
that's
claiming to be a scholar on the subject.
and not based
Yeah,
anywhere.
right.
You're doing it wrong. You're on the internet, Ash.
I read the Talmud so much. No.
Yeah, we're actually going to change our. So when we teach our apologetics curriculum, I always tell people, what's best
Did you,
is
did you guys
if
see
someone-
JP say, I cooked Ash on the Talmud?
yes, yeah. But
what?
so when we teach our apologetics class in person, we always tell people if somebody asks you a question and you don't know the answer, it is better to let them know that you don't know the answer and you will look into it and get back with them later, because trying to just force an answer is not going to be helpful. However, with the invention of AI, I think a new practice we will begin to tell people is say, Hey,
Don't just
I need
chat
to
GPT.
I need to go to the bathroom real quick. Run to the bathroom. Go to whatever AI chatbot you like the most and just type frantically the question they
Except
asked
it will
you.
it will hallucinate an answer, and it will tell you that Jesus saying the Holy Spirit is greater than I is in the Bible.
Mm, right.
You have
Yeah.
to hide your phone in your sleeve like Tim Robinson hides that hot dog during the meeting.
Right.
There's like on that
Did
show,
you
he
guys-
goes to a meeting and they're like, you can't do it during lunch. And they're like, sorry, man, it's during lunch. And he shows up and he's got a hot dog in his sleeve. He keeps just like trying to eat it without anybody noticing. And then somebody surprises him or something and he accidentally inhales it. I don't remember why. Oh, it's so dumb. I love that show.
Did you guys ever hear about the chess scandal on the World Championship with the one dude who is an American who became like a Russian guy? There was an
You can become
accusation
Russian?
that he was using
Pretty cool.
Bobby Fischer?
no. It was recent. So
Oh,
against Magnus
recent.
Carlsen. What's his face? That
You
dude
talking about Nakamura?
was accused. No. He was accused of putting anal beads in his butt and having them vibrate to give him the moves to use in the chess match.
There's got to be an
Did
easier
you
way to
not-
cheat.
Hans, yes,
Gotta be an
Hans
easier way to cheat.
Niemann. Okay.
yeah.
Are you willing to
One of-
put that on the
legitimately
hood?
one of the best chess players in the world.
You know, if somebody is
history.
going to do that kind of thing, you can imagine his name would probably be Hans.
Hans, I have
my
a
God,
secret to help me with chess.
There was a running joke about that. I don't think it actually happened. I don't think it's actually true. But that is the legit scandal. Then there's all these memes that came out of the chess world for it.
Wait,
It was such a great year of memes.
was it
man.
proven?
No. It was like
Oh,
4 years
okay.
ago. And
If
it was
y'all
never
ever-
proven. He was eventually exonerated. But for a while, he wasn't allowed to compete in the tournaments. Eventually, he was allowed to compete again because he did cheat as a kid. So that was proven. He like admitted to cheating as like a 17-year-old. He has not cheated in a long time. He got removed from play in the world stage. He was eventually allowed back. And then there was like a feud between him and Magnus. So, like the greatest chess player of all time is Magnus Carlsen. But he cannot escape the beads memes and all of that. So it just made me think of like ChatGPT and some like a streamer, like a debater having something up there to vibrate them in Morse code. The answer for every question that they get.
I don't know if
I will say that
Sorry. go ahead.
ChatGPT, just to the earlier thing, there's a few good things that ChatGPT is good for, like AI in general. Number one, taking things you've already written yourself and formatting the grammar a little bit better. There are AIs that can do that really well. The other thing is
Right.
summarizing documents. However, you literally have to make sure it didn't freaking make stuff up. Literally summarizing a document that you gave it. All the more so when you're asking
Which
for
it does, yeah.
information, you think it's going to give you correct stuff.
The
It
butt
does
beads
help
are
if
because
you
of the
create a
filioque way is
rag.
a crazy comment.
the butt beads are because of the video.
Real quick, while we're still on butt beads, I don't want to interrupt something serious. If any of you have friends who are an ER doctor, or if you aren't, make friends
Where
with
is
the
this
ER
going?
doctor and just ask them, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen?
Oh man.
Man,
I
you'll
work
get
in a
some
hospital.
stories.
Oh, I've heard some stories. For those who don't know, I do cardiology research for my day job. I'm a big nerd. There's a yearly thing that the hospital has where people like inserting things in holes that may or may not come out.
Oh, is this where the conversation is going now?
Oh,
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to keep going this way.
So
Muhammad.
they
went this
have
way.
like a sign of like you need a base at least this wide for the object to not be stuck and then have to have it surgically removed.
Ooh.
This was a great time for me to
Otherwise,
go get
that
some
thing-
water.
As soon as it
Go
gets
get
sucked
that
in all the
water,
way,
Andrew.
Before you do, Andrew,
you
real
can't
quick,
actually push it back out.
a Santa Claus
fact.
doll where you pull the string and the arms come up. That's all I'm saying. All right, you can get your water.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Yeah, no, but like Like this
so he said
Gatorade bottle
ChatGPT
would,
is for formatting.
You would lose it.
ChatGPT is for
Yeah.
formatting, and spell check. Grok is for web scraping. Alcohol is to be happy.
He did say that a surprising number of times. He didn't sing the little song though. Is but buddies?
Stop.
I will say that one of my favorite interactions of all time was the debate between like the 2-on-1 with Jay Dyer and two Freemasons.
Oh my gosh! Oh,
You could see just how uncomfortable they are the entire time. So one of my favorite interactions, almost as good as Rabbi Mizrahi with Captain Saryak.
I have not watched that one. When it comes to debates
On
where
Matan something.
when it comes to debates where the individuals involved, one side did not come prepared in the slightest. The Jay Dyer and the Freemasons debate is up there. That was awful. That was bad.
I felt
wiped
very
the
bad
floor
for them
with
the
them.
entire time. Like I was embarrassed for them by proxy.
It
while
felt
watching.
like they came in expecting it
Good night,
to be a
Simo.
conversation, and it was not a conversation because he was under the impression this is a debate. This is not a conversation.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then inspiring philosophy.
It was 2-on-1 though.
Yeah, it was. He had a backup.
Are you about to say his with Lawrence Cross?
That
You
might
said
be it.
You said
But
inspiring philosophy, and then
is
you're
he is he an atheist? Lawrence
Yes,
Cross.
Yeah.
Lawrence Krauss is one of the.
I think that's the
yeah.
one where
and he
came
wore a
in-
fedora to the debate too.
He's just a weird dude.
That might not be who I'm thinking of, but he's had several. IP's had several with atheists that have been just so bad. Like IP just use and what's so funny, he had 3 in a row where he used the exact same introduction. He changed nothing, and he told them like, yeah, I'm going to use the exact same thing, and they all lost. It was all 3 of them had no argument for secular humanism. It is the most untenable position.
I also another debate that was like that I really liked was Jeff Durbin from Apologia and a couple of atheists that they debated. And he just started off like his entire opening statement just pulled the rug out from under the two atheist guys. He started off by going, "You'll notice throughout this debate that my opponents during this debate will be thieves. They will reach across and steal from our bag of ethics."
Hey. Amen.
You gotta frame debates like that when you start. Like you in your opening, like has to be about framing things for the audience before you get to anything else.
Now,
which Andrew Wilson is just so deadly at that. Like,
dang it, I was going to say that.
Particularly like his rhetoric.
Yeah.
But he is extremely, extremely good at controlling the conversation, especially if he has the first opening. Like with his debate with Daniel Hikikuju. And just like,
did you think this was going to be about the veracity of the Quran? No, we're not doing that.
Low IQ societies are good for humanity. And I was like, my God. Wow. And yeah, also the 1.8 enter. Like that is such a classic moment on the internet.
This is why people that go like, oh, I just like the conversational thing, like the debate back and forth. It's like you don't understand what goes into a formal debate.
Yeah, no.
Right. And how important framing is for things.
Yeah. God Logic in his debate against Jacob Hansen was so lopsided. Like listening to it as it's happening. I was driving home from St. Louis. I almost did it. I mean, it slipped out. I almost doxed myself. Yeah. I was driving home from an unidentified location, and I had a few hours. Yeah, I had a few hours but I was listening to the debate, and Avery gives his position, I was like, ooh, that was a really good opening statement. And then Jacob comes on, and I was like pausing it, and my wife was getting really annoyed because I kept pausing his part, and I'm like I'm refuting him while he's giving his opening statement. And I was like, it's just so bad. I was like, he's not arguing the position at all. He's finding some other thing. Like when he debated Joe Heschmeyer, Jacob Hansen, he keeps doing this. He will take these debates and then he will completely ignore the debate topic to rattle on like he did with Joe Heschmeyer about did the early church commit apostasy? And instead
Joe at one
talking,
point was like, okay, let's say I granted you everything about that, about like you still have Eastern Orthodox who affirm everything else in this sense. Like, what's your argument for them? You're talking about the papacy, right? How does that prove anything? All right, let's say Catholicism's false, right?
His whole opening statement was just about the Pope, and
it doesn't even make sense from a practical, because if what you're trying to do is score points so people will come to your side, right? Catholicism isn't your challenge there, right? Mostly in that sense, if you're talking about this like apostolic tradition, in the current debate sphere and all that, orthodoxy is going to be your bigger opponent. Why would you grant orthodoxy and like attack the Pope to try to prove Mormonism? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Or that I think I can't watch another Jacob Hansen debate. I will be I can't do it because all three of his most recent debates, he clearly states in the debate, I do not have to prove Mormonism to win this debate. And so he doesn't. He does not actually defend a single Mormon doctrine, a single Mormon belief. He just tries to attack something that's somewhat related to the actual topic he came to debate. Oh.
What did you guys think of Trent Horn and Ryan Need God?
I didn't watch it.
Didn't watch it.
I think I'm really the only one here who watches these debates.
I've only seen one debate.
So
he did really well. And he was against an atheist named Ben Watkins. Yeah, it was a good debate.
With who?
Trent Horn. That's the only debate I've ever seen from him.
I mean, Trent Horn is a great debater.
People were upset about like the language and subject matter that Trent was talking about, like saying it was inappropriate. The thing is, though, it saying that further proves Trent's point, because what he's getting at is you guys are so upset about me saying these words, but you will affirm that somebody can do these things unrepentantly and still go to heaven. Right? That literally proves his point, right? If you think it's so bad that we can't talk about it, like I'm condemned for saying the words, how can you affirm that somebody can do it, not repent for it, and be saved?
Yeah, that was the crux of the debate for Chris and Chase and Christian was basically they were talking about salvation by faith alone. And so Trent was
salvation and so on.
Yeah. Can you lose your salvation? And Trent was kind of cornering Ryan on like a couple of, he would mention someone like Sophie Rain, the OnlyFans model. And he was like, she claims to be a Christian while actively posting sexual content online for men to masturbate to. Like, would you say that if she's trusting in Christ, that she's saved? And it was just a consistent, like, Ryan would not yield on his position.
Yeah.
And like, I understood where Ryan was coming from because he didn't want to go into the hypotheticals. So he just kept using what Trent was saying, where Trent would say, trusting in Christ. And so Ryan would say, well, if she is sincerely trusting in Christ, then I'm not going to put a timeline on her. Like God will correct her and discipline her. Right. And then, she will be saved. And so like, I get where Ryan was coming from, but I think his unwillingness to just be like, well, that would be evidence to say she's not saved. Right. Like to me, that's a better answer in that position, is to just say, if she's doing these things while claiming to be a Christian, I would say that's evidence that she is not actually a Christian.
The most brutal part of that debate was when Ryan says something about like the first century and the expectations on like trusting in Christ, and Trent is like, well, considering that you're the only person in the history of the world that's ever used this terminology, no, I wouldn't expect to find it in the Bible.
I can't find anybody
It
in
was
the first
brutal.
the first
Like,
2,000
no, I can't,
years.
because you're the only person that's ever used this. It was very brutal. I mean, that's the thing though. Like, I had one interaction with Ryan like way back first when I started like talking to people online about Christianity, and he basically conceded to me that from his stance, like, he is 100% certain that like 99% of human beings on the planet right now are going to hell. It's like, how can you assert something like that? Like, that's the God that you, the loving God that you know, is that like, what are you talking about? But like Catholics and Orthodox are mean for like saying that the church is there, right? Like, how can?
Is this a great time for me to say one of the areas I really want to research more on is the position from like 300 AD to like 600 AD on universalism?
Byzantium.
This
No,
is
okay, never mind.
I don't believe in universalism. I just want to read what the church fathers taught about universalism.
There are some church
Because I
fathers that
find
sound
it-
like they're talking about universalism.
Some of the Eastern fathers had some things that sound like universalism. I'm not claiming it is. I find it interesting. I have a quiet optimism towards it that like I just hope it's right. You know, I'm one of those people who's like, I'm not going to tell God
Of course,
he's wrong for whoever ends up in heaven, right? Like I hope, you know, when people say that they believe that hell is a restorative fire, I'm like,
Wait. Protestants are.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
That's a stupid. That's not
That's not right.
That's not it. Man. That's
No,
not-
Alex's last
What
one.
happened?
Totally different thing.
Alex's
That
last.
only 144,000 will be saved. That's not what that means. That's
Right.
judicial, not who's going to be saved. It says in the same book that there is a countless throng who are saved.
Yeah, around
of
the
the
throne.
saints.
Yeah. So
So way more than 100,000.
Protestants are not monolithic on what Sheol and Gehenna are. I personally do distinguish between Sheol and Gehenna. So there's that for you.
Yeah, I'm not particularly familiar with that claim though, so I wouldn't be able to comment on it. Like, I'd have to like, is there a specific thing that you're referencing?
I would say Chase is right. I don't think there's a monolithic perspective within Protestantism. I would say there is a general unawareness that Sheol is a thing at all within certain
that's
groups
true.
within Protestantism. So like I was talking to a guy that I work with
That's true.
I was talking to a guy that I work with and I was explaining a position I was having on something, and I mentioned that like that the thief on the cross, when he was speaking of paradise, is likely talking about the upper layer of Sheol in Abraham's bosom, and that when Jesus went into the depths, that he goes to Sheol and brings the people out. And he looked at me like I had a third eye on my forehead. He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, it literally says he went to hell. And I was like, I've been saying for about 8 years before I even knew a historical view on these things that I just reading the Bible plainly, I don't think that the fiery hell exists right now anyways. I not as in it might exist, but the people aren't there. I think that is very clearly after the white throne judgment. So
No lake of fire.
no. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a difference between hell and the lake of fire. I would say that hell is the lower part of Abraham's bosom in which the unsaved dead are held until that day, whenever death, hell, and
just-
Satan are all
just
cast into the lake of fire. There's nobody in the upper part of Sheol anymore, though. That is so the Lord Jesus led everybody out of that after 3 days, and the harrowing of Hades, and then now to be absent with the body is to be present with the Lord. Do me as a Protestant. That's just what I believe.
Right.
So
my difference would just be, I would say Sheol has Abram's bosom, the chasm, Gehenna,
Right.
and then the lake of fire is like Tartarus is
okay.
All that into
right.
it.
Well, see, this is where we have some, because I thought Tartarus was the pit. Okay, so I mean, Tartarus is described in the Book of Enoch as the place of containment for the angels who defied God, and then Gehenna is referred to as the actual.
Yeah,
hold on.
The
I'm
Book of Enoch to us.
This is Second Temple thought. Okay, this is about it. This is Second Temple thought. All right, so just whether it matters or not, we're just putting it out there.
It's good for reading, man.
It is good for reading. All right, this is where the defiers of God were put, and they were enchained. All right, and then it talks about Gehenna. That's what it talks about, separated in the chasm. That Gehenna was more like the lake of fire. That eventually Sheol is going to be ripped up and tossed into Gehenna. Am I saying it's right or it's going to happen? I don't know. I'm just telling you what it says. All right. Don't come after me. I'm just the messenger.
So rabbinic Jewish thought doesn't really have those categories after the 1st century. What you have is like different levels of punishment within Gehinnom, right? Different people spend different times there, and some are destroyed, some are punished there eternally, but it's all one place essentially. Fast forward to Hasidic thought, you have like these purgatory-like states of purification that exist, and that's what Gehenna is. And then you have like extreme end of it today, like Manus Friedman will say, like, there is no hell at all like Christianity. It is all a purification process. It's like a giant washing machine, basically, like a steaming hot washing machine for your soul. So
just
like
entirely thrown out the Midrash and Talmud's version of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And so you'll get differing views, but you're not going to see post 1st century like Sheol versus like one lake of fire versus Gehenna. It's just a place where the dead are punished or purified, essentially.
Okay. So the word Tartarus appears in the New Testament. So does the word Hades a bunch of times. Like the word that's typically translated as hell is Hades in Greek. So it's just, and actually, interestingly, Tartarus in the New Testament seems to be roughly used the same way that the Greeks are using it. It's like the dwelling place of the enemies of God, or like the enemies of like Olympius. So like the Pharisees, for example, and Satan and his minions are described as being there. So it serves a similar purpose, but it's not the same thing. But they do use the Greek words of the equivalents of those because that's just what you have. And instead of like having a transliteration of like Sheol or Abandon into Greek, you just use the Greek that was available.
So Christian Gadfly commented in my chat about Malachi and Ignatius. So the word that Ignatius is using for altar is literally the place where burnt offerings are offered, right? It's not some like, you know,
that's what I understand Thusiastasiou to be. But what's weird is the English translation over on the right says sanctuary, but I think it's the word for altar.
No, I was looking it up last night with a subdeacon from our church. It's a place of burnt offering, right?
Yeah.
But so it's referencing like these holy offerings from the temple. That's what Ignatius is talking about. But it's in the sense of like Malachi is talking about where, you know, the table of the Lord has been defiled basically in the temple, and that's not going to be a thing anymore. So we know from Malachi already, before we even get to New Testament, that the temple in Jerusalem is not going to be the place where the pure offering is offered. It's going to be a priesthood that exists among all nations. From the setting of the sun, right, to the rising of the sun to the setting of the sun among the nations, my name shall be glorified, right, with pure incense, and everywhere a pure oblation is offered. That's right in the Old Testament, right? That's fulfilled in the New Covenant, right? Jesus makes reference to that with these offerings, right? And then and then you fast forward to Ignatius, he's using terminology of Old Testament sacrifice for where the bishop is. And if you're not there, you're screwed. Like this, you're not saved and you're not in the church if you're not there. That's what Ignatius is saying. Saint Ignatius.
Yeah, if anyone is not within, and this says the sanctuary, but really it's the altar, he lacks the bread of life. For if the prayer of one or two has such power, how much more that of the bishop, together with the whole church?
What does he refer to as like pharmakon Athanasius or something?
Let me see.
The bread of immortality is offered there.
Yeah, you're
Or
talking
the
about
medicine of immortality.
in the letter in Ephesus.
I just see
Yeah.
two.
Yeah,
two
he specifically calls it the medicine of immortality.
Offered on this altar, referencing a word from the Old Testament Greek. That is the altar where burnt offerings are offered. It's a sacrificial thing offered by the bishop.
We also link
That's
it
for me.
to-
It's like reading that. Like I don't know how. Again, like it's just abundantly clear. Like it just seems so. Like this is what Christians in the first century were doing. Like there's no
Ignatius.
argument. Like there's no other apostle or apostolic father that's going like, hey, by the way, Ignatius is talking about this altar. Like that's not what we're doing. Like be careful of that. Like they're all like, no, like listen to Ignatius.
Yeah, I've currently read Ignatius. I read Clement. I read.
Clement is rough reading.
It is rough.
Yeah, very
reading.
long.
It drags.
Doesn't he talk about abortion? Doesn't Clement
I
talk
think
about
so.
like the evils of abortion? Yeah.
Did I actually finish Clement? I may have only gotten halfway
didn't
through
fin-
it because
I
I
didn't
think
finish
I think you're right. It's just long.
It's super long.
And then
Oh, he's
read-
annotated at the front, and this book is so dark, it's hard to see what my annotations are. So you have to
Well,
hold
if
it
you-
just right in the light.
if
You
you
also
didn't
use
have the
dinosaurs
DNA
and
lizards in the
overtaken it.
back, we might be able to see it a little better.
Those are dinosaurs.
I'm sorry.
Idiot.
My bad.
Yeah, they didn't become lizards; they became birds.
Why would I
'cause
need to
they
clone
evolved.
lizards? There's lizards
Not
everywhere.
all lizards are dinosaurs, but all dinosaurs are not real.
Right.
Based for sure. We ain't got no complete dinosaur skeleton. No,
I'm going to teach my
This
kids
is
that
planted by
dinosaurs are real.
sight.
but I've read half of Clement. I read Irenaeus, Justin Martyr. I read Ignatius. I read the only thing I haven't read from the 2nd century, I believe, was the one letter we have of Polycarp's.
Interesting.
There are some interesting things in there that are there's hard things. There's
I would say that any
why would you
apostolic
date
father that
Clement?
doesn't reference the destruction of the temple, I could make the claim that based on that alone, you would assume it's pre-70 AD.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the same thing with the Gospels.
Yeah.
And the whole New Testament. I would say the whole New Testament's written before 70 AD.
Yeah. I don't see how you can have a New Testament
Do you
document
think that
written after 70
Revelation
AD.
was written before
Yeah, I think
70?
Revelation's before. I think it's written in the
Revelation, I would say
60s,
theoretically
under
could
Nero.
be after. I don't see why Revelation would reference anything other than this vision. So
Yeah,
that's
I
the one
don't-
where I could make the claim that it could happen afterwards. But even Revelation, I'd place it before 70 AD.
I think there's very
Revelation-
little evidence to put it before 70. I think it's very
We're-
clearly 90.
Because John's already there, right?
We were talking
Yeah,
about
so
the-
well, it references the problem is that there are so many people who attest to John writing Revelation and his banishment to that island of Patmos under Domitian's rule, and that was not
I mean, but
until
it mentions Nero by name. Well, by number of his name. In Hebrew. Using Gemara.
yeah, I don't mind
Gematria
that as much because
Like, it
of what's
literally
known
has
as
Gematria.
prophecy,
of Nero.
and all that.
Right,
But
but,
like,
Nero was already not Caesar by the time of the destruction of the temple. So
why-
why in the world? So like, if it's written 30 years after the fact, why is it mentioning Nero specifically?
Isn't Vespasian the emperor then?
I'm not sure.
He was
Titus
in
sacked the
70.
temple.
it was
Vespasian,
either,
Vespasian is the emperor by the time of the destruction.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it would have
Titus.
to be.
Titus is the general who sacks Jerusalem.
Yeah, I just finished reading. I just finished reading the Jewish
Or
War.
Titus, as he's called in Hebrew.
Yeah, Irenaeus puts like everybody puts Revelation at the latter date until you get to like the 300s, I believe. I don't think anybody holds to an early date of revelation until way later.
So one argument, and I mean, obviously it just depends on how much credence you give to tradition, but Eusebius on church history, he talks about the tradition that John comes back from Patmos and is the presiding bishop over the church in Ephesus, and like lives out the rest of his life there. Now, I don't remember how much time that was, but if we're taking the writing of Revelation in 90 AD, that would put John on Patmos in 90 AD, and most would say he only lived to like 100 AD. So there does become some discrepancies in how does that get reconciled? And again, that just puts how much you put weight on, just the stories and traditions. But because they could just be not correct. There's that obviously could be true, but
I have a quote here that I feel like I
Well,
need
at
to
100
read.
AD in his like, sorry, I was gonna say, just at 100 AD, John is like in his late 80s, early 90s. Like he's a very old man for the time.
Mm-hmm.
This
Go
quote
ahead, Christian.
relates to the OnlyFans hoe. It relates to Revelation.
Here he comes, bro.
Yeah, and it's from Irenaeus. We've mentioned like all three in like the last 2 minutes, and I'm sitting here with the words about to pop out of my mouth, and I can't get them out. I finally got it. I blame Chris. The Nicolaitanists or Nicolaitans are the followers of that Nicholas who was one of the 7 first ordained to the diaconate by the apostles. I'm reading from Against Heresies by Irenaeus. By the
I
way.
remember this.
Yeah, he wrote like around 150 or something. They lead lives of unrestrained indulgence. Okay, sounds like our OnlyFans friend. The character of these men is very plainly pointed out in the Apocalypse of John, when they are represented as teaching that it is a matter of indifference to practice adultery and to eat things sacrificed to idols. Wherefore the word has also spoken of them thus, quote, but this thou hast, that thou hatest the deeds of the Nicolaitans, which I also hate, end quote. So he quotes Revelation there and ascribes it to the word, so you can see he's treating it as scripture already. And this is like in 150. So yeah. So the is she going to go to heaven? Well, according to John, probably not. Right? Because she sounds like a Nicolaitan.
Wasn't the Nicolations that thing you put on your arm to stop smoking?
Amen, brother.
Man, I'm trying to cut back on cigars, and it is so hard.
I have
He's
not
one
had a
of them
cigar since
Nicolations.
like a couple days after my daughter was born. I had like my last few here and haven't restocked yet.
I just every day around
I haven't
like
had
noon,
anything
I'm
in
like,
4
man, I can
days.
just.
Well, brothers, I think I'm gonna head out. I've been trying to
Yeah, I need
fix
to
my
sleep.
sleep, and I
Me
have
too, I need to
been doing much better about
Yeah.
getting up early in the morning and being in the Word. So I would recommend that to anyone and everyone for sure.
Nehemiah 9 too, Alex wants to bring up. But yeah, before getting to that, Chase, pleasure as always.
Always stay
Okay,
away from
next,
Islam. Or whatever our slogan is. Andrew, we haven't made
We
one
need
yet.
somebody to do a goat scream. No.
We
Right.
need a slogan.
We do need a slogan. It needs to be like, stay away from...
Bro, John wrote the
us.
dopest.
Literal
No,
Ezekiel's temple.
We're proud
never
of
mind.
that.
John wrote.
Stay
John
away
wrote
from
the.
this piece.
John wrote the dopest closing line already. Just children, keep your heart from idols.
All right, see it.
I'm gonna
Boom.
sign off with Yo Mama's
Yes.
a Nicolation.
Your mama's Nicolation.
What?
Oh my god.
Nehemiah 9. Do you want to bring up Nehemiah 9?
Yeah, sure can.
Nehemiah.
My logo's finally loaded.
Who would imagine that I ended up being the one who would last the longest out of our group?
Well, I can't actually get off until you guys get off, so I'm kind of stuck here.
Oh, are you hosting the
Yeah, we
stream?
can wrap up soon.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
We can wrap up soon.
Well, I just why is Nehemiah not?
I close tomorrow, so it's one of the times where I don't have to be in
Obviously.
bed super early.
Was he listening for verse what? 2. All right, it's already here. you want it in the Greek or the Hebrew? I
Hebrew.
could do both, actually.
Hebrew, and it's 9:2.
Yep.
Seed of Israel
The
separated
seed of Israel
themselves from all
separated
foreigners and
themselves
stood
from
and
all
confessed their
foreigners and
sins and
stood.
iniquities of their fathers.
Excuse you guys, Alex. Alex is Orthodox. Please put it in Greek. Okay, excuse you.
Well, no, I'm yeah.
We only affirm the Septuagint in these parts.
I could just put it in both, but
Yeah, I mean
I
that's
think
pretty,
actually they're
pretty
all.
explicit.
I can throw
pretty
it into. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
So,
so the like I don't know the Greek, but the Hebrew is like they are basically bearing witness to sins, essentially, for forgiveness. Like that's the same terminology you'd use like Yom Kippur, like, you know, repent, like admitting your sins. So they're doing it like they're doing it on behalf of their fathers, essentially, for what was done. Like it's pretty explicit. Like I don't know how you would read that any other way.
I'm curious what the actual debate is.
Well,
Confess the iniquities. So Ezekiel saw a man measuring the temple with a stick. John Revelation measured the temple with a stick. Coincidence? I think not. Confess the iniquities of their fathers.
Hold on.
Sounds like
Chris,
a prayer for the dead.
Chris, are you asking what spawned this conversation?
Oh, I'm asking what his question is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the question
Like
was
what
from
my
earlier.
take is? Like is that explicit about prayer for the dead? Yeah, it's explicit prayer for the dead.
Yeah, that was his question. Was Nehemiah 9:2 seems to be an explicit place where
It's not just
calls
prayer for them,
the
it's
dead.
literally repenting on their behalf. Like admitting sins of confession, like confession of sins for their behalf, like for people that would otherwise have done that for themselves.
Interesting.
Of their ancestors.
It's a vayit vadu. Yeah, like vidui.
Well, this seems like as good of a place as any, since there is an Eastern Orthodox person in the chat, for me to ask the questions that I want to ask. So, and Ash can also do his best to answer these questions.
I mean, if you want, like, if Alex wants to come up for like 5 minutes, so we can do like a 5-minute like question and answer, like, and if he wants to do it, I got 10 more minutes and close out if he wants to come up.
Well, my question is, I think that there is a argument that can be made, which, I mean, I also understand this is a Protestant like dance around, but how many times in Scripture is something practiced by Jewish believers that may not necessarily be something that God wants?
Right, next time. Sorry, what was the question?
That something may be practiced by the Jews in Scripture, but that doesn't mean that God likes it, right? Like, so we have instance in Jeremiah where, you know, they were erecting the poles to Ishtar, and they were calling her the Queen of Heaven, and they were, you know, assigning her to be the wife of Yahweh, where she was a fertility goddess, right?
Because they're deifying, like they're putting another creature or
right. They were doing something that
God.
They were doing something that God didn't approve of or like. And I'm not saying that in this passage specifically, that's in Nehemiah, that's what's happening. This is more of a general question on topics like this, that just because there may be a mention of something that could be like that, does that mean that is
so with right. Nehemiah, the context is that the Jews, having returned from exile, are in a whole weird state and bad things that they've been doing, and this is a whole series of corrections that are taking place.
That's fair.
In the process of fixing problems.
That's fair, and I am
like they're rededicating the temple and like fixing problems that are going on, of like false doctrine. It's in a list of things being fixed.
That's one of those things that if I was reading the fullness of Nehemiah, I wouldn't have even asked that question, because I would understand.
Like the context is like their fathers have sinned really, really badly and and had no temple. Right. This also debunks the Jewish argument. Like, well, in exile, you know, they didn't have a temple and they just got by with prayer, so it's all good. We don't need a temple right now. It's like, no. There was a way for those people to have repentance. Somebody else also like praying for them and confessing for them. Right. That's the full context of that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like you
Okay.
can't get by without doing something for it, right? There is a cooperation and obedience that needs to take place.
Yeah. Hmm.
Sin has to be dealt with.
See,
Yeah.
I am a I'm a non-combative Protestant when it comes to the conversations to the Orthodox or Catholic side. I'm an intrigued individual.
I feel like you'd be more likely to become Orthodox than Catholic if you
that
did
was
pick one.
that was I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. That was up in the air. If I had to choose, I don't know if I'm in the same place now, but I really liked the Eastern Orthodox perspective, like some of the theology when it came to like the free will. I thought the essence energies distinction was a pretty interesting topic. I think I just did it like Augustinianism in general, and I think I have such a like disdain for Calvinism that I think it puts a bad taste in my mouth about Augustine in general. Which, funny enough, I really relate to the Confessions. Like a lot of the stuff he mentions in his story, I find in my story. So like, I don't want to just rag on him. I think his conversion is beautiful. I just don't like his determinism.
Why don't we do this? Alex, if you're down for it, and Andrew, if you're down for it, why don't we set up a stream for later this week or early next week? Just like a conversation about orthodoxy. Not a debate, conversation.
If I can make it happen, I would be happy to be there. I can also talk about Catholic stuff too, because I've got some thoughts and questions. Yeah, there's a very interesting verse. Hold on, I want to bring it up. I think this is an interesting verse on the idea of Mary, Lord of Spirits episode on St. Augustine. I thought Augustine wasn't acknowledged as a saint in the Orthodox Church. Let's just hold on. What is it? Rachel weeping for her children.
Epic.
Do you know what I'm talking about already?
Jeremiah 31.
Yep. Thank you. I thought that this was a verse which was a pretty decent argument for the intercession of saints.
Oh, it's fantastic, especially if you look into the first century like literature on it. The son of Gamaliel, right, first century rabbi, talking about how Jacob sets up a monument for people to pass by, and so they'll mark the spot where they know to pray for her intercession. First century source.
Yeah, I don't remember.
God says her prayers are efficacious; they have worked.
I know. Yeah, that was I read.
She's called the mother weeping for all her children, even though she's the mother of only 2 of the tribes, but she's the mother of all Israel.
No, immediately after I was watching a video. There was who was it? Anyways, one of the Catholic guys was talking about it, and I was like, "Why is this not a go-to verse for more people?" Because I honestly didn't know what to do about it. I sure don't. Chris, I don't know if you do. You're more than welcome if you know. That is a interesting verse.
I have a migraine and I haven't slept much in like 5 days, so I am not prepared to discuss any of this at any level beyond like.
Well, we can close out. Well, let's set up a stream like that to go over some of that stuff. I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah. And Alex knows a lot more about explaining orthodoxy than I do about Catholicism, so I would have to get somebody else also on the Catholic side if we were going to do that. All right. I'm not teaching on behalf of the Catholic Church. I don't know enough to do that. Let's say I'm not experienced enough at it, especially. Yeah. So let's close out here, and this is a good spot because we're going to follow up with all this. Chris is like dying inside right now.
I can see the head splitting migraine.
Yeah. I've been seeing it for like an hour. I just didn't know what it was.
I took a pain pill before the stream started, and it's worn off by now. So I'll just take another one and pass out. Alex, do you have Ash's number?
Yeah.
Like, do you guys have a way to contact each other? All right.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I can send you.
You can give Andrew mine.
Andrew's. Yeah. All right.
Sweet.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
you,
Thank you for
everyone, for
joining.
coming.
It's been awesome.
Yep. Go sub to Sons of
Church is
Thunder
Israel.
Apologia. Jesus loves you.
Yes.